27%. Chapter 161. Lin Haoyang traveled day and night. Because he didn't want to attract the attention of others, Lin Haoyang passed through the junction of Dong and Wangji, all walking the wilderness trails. Avoided 2 garrison cultivators in the border zone. This trip reminded Lin Haoyang of the days when he was still in the cultivation base. Because the cultivation base was not high and he was afraid of robbery by rogue cultivators, he only dared to walk some wilderness trails. Unexpectedly, there is a foundation building now, and it is so, but it makes Lin Haoyang feel a little funny. 3 months later, Lin Haoyang finally crossed the boundaries of Dong sect and Wangji sect, and came to Move Mountain sect. The Moving Mountain sect is also one of the 4 major sects of the Zheng kingdom. It has a larger area than the Qingyan sect, and the establishment of the clan takes longer than the Qingyan sect. The territory is more prosperous than the Qingyan sect. Every few years, the Azure Cloud sect also sends people to the Azure Cloud sect to exchange resources. Most of the Azure Cloud sect uses demonic beasts materials to exchange some unique minerals, elixir, etc. from the mountain sect. After arriving in the Moving Mountain sect, Lin Haoyang took out the map, identified the location, and galloped away again in one direction. According to what Lin Haoyang learned, the cultivator who moved to the mountain sect was mostly the cultivation technique of the soil system. At the same time, he also studied the cultivation of the body. Among the nascent soul cultivators of the 4 sects of Zheng Kingdom, nascent soul moved the mountain sect with the strongest physical power. The sect leader who strengthened the mountain sect had the strongest power to fight against the 2 nascent souls of the Wangjizong. After that time, the strength of the Moving Mountain sect was recognized as the second in the state of Zheng, while the Dong sect ranked last. Starting from the 2 borders, it took Lin Haoyang 20 days to arrive at Zujia town, where the Zhu family is located. Although the name is the name of an ordinary village and town, this place is the 4th order Lingshan under the jurisdiction of the Zhu family. Unlike the 4 families of Lin, Bai, Ma, and Lu, the places where these 4 families are located are basically the people of their own families. The Zujia town, where the Zhu family is located, is another scene. The Zhu family is in Zujia town and is the largest family power. In addition to the Zhu family has 3 other foundation building families. These 3 foundation building families all rely on the foundation building to exist, which is equivalent to an affiliated subsidiary. These foundation building families are equivalent to the Lin family's affiliations. Unlike Bai, Lu, and Ma, these 3 families are in alliance with the Lin family and are not affiliated. The second-rank families under the Lin family are the Lin family's affiliations. As in Zujia town, it is rare for all families to live together. Such a situation will only occur in those cases where the family has been established for a long time. It has been nearly 500 years since the Zhu family has established a self-reliant home. Such a long time is enough for the Zhu family to perfect Zujajun's experience. Entering Zujia town, you also need to pay spirit stones. After Lin Haoyang paid 2 spirit stones, he got an identity token engraved with Zhu. This token is red in color. According to Lin Haoyang's judgment, it should be made of a very common second-order metal. It is very simple to imitate this token, but there is a special atmosphere engraved by the cultivator of the Zhu family in this token, which cannot be imitated by outsiders. With the token, Lin Haoyang entered Zujia town. The gathering place of rogue cultivators such as Pingyang City is different. There are not many shops in Zujia town, only about a quarter. And this quarter was opened for rogue cultivators in Zujia town. These shops were basically opened by the Zhu family themselves or by the Lin family's affiliated families. When Lin Haoyang walks in this area, everyone else looks at him with the same eyes. Even rogue cultivators, those who travel to and from Zujia town are familiar people. As Lin Haoyang is completely unfamiliar with the foundation building cultivator, it will naturally arouse others' attention. Sure enough, Lin Haoyang didn't go very far when a foundation building cultivator with a big beard came over and asked. This fellow Taoist looked at the face. I don't know what to do in Zujia town. Lin Haoyang frowned. He didn't expect that he would attract everyone's attention. Lin Haoyang had never thought of this situation. This fellow Taoist, Zhu Fuqing, can Zhu Senior be here? Lin Haoyang said. Hearing that Lin Haoyang had come to Zhu Fuqing, a strange color flashed in his eyes, but he quickly suppressed the strange color, with a meaningful smile on his face, and said. This is Zujia town, and Zhu Senior is naturally here, but Zhu Senior has been closed-door training for many years. It is not easy to see his old man. Lin Haoyang frowned. The change in the eyes of this bearded cultivator failed to escape Lin Haoyang's eyes, and all fell into Lin Haoyang's eyes. This bearded cultivator also called Zhu Fuqing a senior. Lin Haoyang guessed that he should be a rogue cultivator, and he was so polite to Lin Haoyang, which seemed even more abnormal. Rogue cultivators generally don't like to deal with others, otherwise they would not become rogue cultivators. Lin Haoyang's face remained the same, but there was already an extra heart in his heart, saying, "Since Zhu Senior is in closed-door training, who is in charge of the Zhu family now is the same for me to look for him." Seeing that Lin Haoyang was still looking for Zhu's family, the smile on his face gradually disappeared, saying, "Fellow Taoist, Zhu's family is not at peace now. I think you should leave soon. Now Zhu's family is not at peace." Lin Haoyang's eyes narrowed. It seems that this bearded cultivator should have lost his patience and has begun to expel him. "Fellow Taoist, what happened to the Zhu family? I came to the Zhu family this time. There is really something important," Lin Haoyang asked. Seeing Lin Haoyang still clinging to it, he was a little impatient and said, "Zhu Fuqing, the ancestor of the Zhu family, was seriously injured. The three affiliated families of the Zhu family are preparing to overthrow the Zhu family and become the master of the entire Zhu family town. Those of us rogue cultivators, if not for these two forces, would otherwise be ready to leave Zujia town and look for another treasure." Quote. Lin Haoyang was astonished. He didn't expect the Zhu family to encounter such a crisis. Lin Haoyang didn't know how far the Zhu family had fallen. However, the 500-year accumulation of Zhu's family cannot be shaken by the three foundation-building families. Just like the Lin family, there has been a golden core cultivator in the family, and Tier 4 magical charms are hidden in the family. Although Zhu Fuqing was seriously injured and dying, but the 500 years of accumulation by the Zhu family alone could repel the three families. Unless there are other forces behind these three companies, they will not dare to act against the Zhu family. Lin Haoyang secretly felt bitter. He only came to look for Zhu Fuqing, but he did not expect to encounter this incident. "Fellow Taoist, let's leave soon. Otherwise, the sword will have no eyes, and it's not good to lose your life," said the bearded cultivator. But before Lin Haoyang could speak, there was a soft drink in the distance. "Ha, Huangshi, this fellow Taoist came to the Zhu family, why are you driving them away?" Lin Haoyang searched for her voice, and saw a dashing female correction approaching here, with her eyebrows and sword eyes, very sassy. The female cultivator came and said directly, "This fellow Taoist, under Sun Shangxian, has some friendship with the Zhu family's head. If the fellow Taoist is looking for someone from the Zhu family, I can recommend it to the fellow Taoist." Lin Haoyang frowned slightly. Since Sun Shangxian is not a member of the Zhu family, she should be the rogue cultivators who are attached to the Zhu family. She is so polite, she should be trying to win Lin Haoyang and find a helper in this chaos. Seeing Sun Shangxian, Huangshi showed disgust on his face. At first glance, the two of them couldn't deal with it. Now, for an outsider like Lin Haoyang, they are tit for tat again. 27%. Chapter 162. Zhu family's dangerous situation. Lin Haoyang fought against Diva in his heart, and quickly weighed the pros and cons. This time he came to Zhu's house to find the Flintstone mother. If he didn't even see the Zhu family's face, Lin Haoyang would definitely have a gap in his heart. Judging from the situation in Zhujiajun now, Lin Haoyang felt that if he wanted to escape, he had an 80% chance, so Lin Haoyang decided to take a risk. This fellow Taoist grandson, it is really important to find someone from the Zhu family, and I also ask fellow Taoist to help introduce one or two, Lin Haoyang said to Sun Shangxian. Before Sun Shangxian could answer, Huangshi said viciously on the side, "You kid, you are so kind to persuade you not to listen. When the head falls, there will be no chance for you to regret it." Having said that, Huangshi knew that things could not be violated, and walked away angrily. Seeing this, Sun Shangxian laughed mockingly on his face, but he was overjoyed in his heart. In this situation, even if the Zhu family had more help, there would be more possibility to survive the crisis. "This fellow Taoist, don't know how to call it," Sun Shangxian said. "Lin Haoyang, Lin fellow Taoist, I don't know what is going on in Zhujiajun," Sun Shangxian asked. Lin Haoyang frowned, and it was obvious that Sun Shangxian was asking too much. "Fellow Taoist son, what you are looking for in the Zhu family should have nothing to do with you. As long as you take me to find the Zhu family, I will thank fellow Taoist in the next," Lin Haoyang said. Although he was lightly reprimanded by Lin Haoyang, Sun Shengxian was not annoyed, and took Lin Haoyang straight to the main peak of Zujia town, where he was located. The main peak of the Zhu family is a fourth-order high-grade spiritual vein with abundant spirit power. With such a spiritual vein, it should be able to cultivate many outstanding children. But as soon as Lin Haoyang stepped on this spiritual vein, he felt something was wrong. The spirit power on this spiritual vein had a weird feeling from beginning to end, which made Lin Haoyang feel uncomfortable all over his body. At this time, Sun Shengxian looked sad and said, "Did fellow Taoist Lin also found the problem?" Lin Haoyang nodded and said, "This spiritual channel should be a fourth-order high-grade spiritual channel, but when the spirit power is integrated into my body, there is an extremely uncomfortable feeling, and the body will automatically resist this spirit power and enter the body. This is the first time I have seen this kind of thing. I don't know why and why." Quote. Sun Shengxian looked dim and said, "We don't know what happened to this spiritual vein. 10 years ago, suddenly it was no longer suitable for cultivation." At this time, Zhu Fuqing, the ancestor of the Zhu family, was conspired by the enemy and was seriously injured. Without this fourth-order spiritual vein to provide them with spiritual qi, the Zhu family spends a lot of spirit stones every year to help the ancestors of the Zhu family recover from their injuries and stabilize the cultivation base. During this period, the Zhu family spent over 100,000 spirit stones and invited several masters, but they were not able to cure this spiritual vein. In addition to the huge amount of spirit stones invested in the Zhu family's ancestors over the past 10 years, the Zhu family has already hollowed out the old bottom. At this moment, the three affiliated foundation building families thought they had a chance and wanted to overthrow the rule of the Zhu family. Quote. After listening for a while, Lin Haoyang also probably understood the whole story. The Zhu family's problem lies in this spiritual vein. It can be said that all problems are caused by this spiritual vein. Ling Mei had a problem. Not only was the cultivator unable to cultivate, but even the Zhu family's spiritual and medicinal fields could not survive. It can be said that the Zhu family had basically no income these years, and they had to spend excessively every year. And these are the reasons that caused the Zhu family's current situation. Lin Haoyang secretly said that if the Zhu family really encountered such a crisis, I am afraid that the Flaming Stone Mother had already been replaced by spirit stones. But now that I have arrived here, of course I still have to meet the Zhu family and let him completely give up. Soon, Sun Shengxian brought Lin Haoyang to the main peak of the Zhu family. When the Zhu family saw Sun Shengxian, they would say hello politely. It seems that this person has a good reputation in the Zhu family. But these people are obviously unable to beat their spirits and look melancholy. Even cultivation base is sparse and ordinary. In this way, Sun Shengxian took Lin Haoyang all the way to the Zhu family's Zhengtang. This is where the Zhu family usually does things. Lin, fellow Taoist, the patriarch of the Zhu family is inside. Go in and see. If you have anything, you can discuss it, Sun Shengxian said. Lin Haoyang nodded, but she kept pressing it on the storage bag. If something unexpected happened, Lin Haoyang could react immediately. The two entered the main hall of Zhu's family, and saw three people sitting inside, discussing something. When Sun Shengxian came, they were overjoyed immediately, but they saw Lin Haoyang behind them, and the person in charge asked, "Shengxian, you are finally back. I wonder if the fellow Taoist behind you is." Lin Haoyang stepped forward and said, "Lin Haoyang, come here, please forgive me." Standing in the main seat is Zhu Chongshan, the head of the Zhu family, on the 8th floor of the Cultivation Base Foundation building. Over the past few years, I've broken my heart about the Zhu family's affairs, and his face is slightly old, obviously exhausted. I don't know what the so-called fellow Taoist came to my Zhu's house. Zhu Zongba asked. The time has come to such a point, Lin Haoyang does not intend to conceal any more, and directly said, "I am the cultivator of the Blue Cloud sect. I was instructed by elder in the clan, Zhu Fuqing Sr. of the Zhu family, and obtained a piece of Flaming Mother 30 years ago. If I want to refine a magical item, I need the Fire Marble Mother as the main material, and I want to find no results. I want to ask Zhu Sr. for help, but I didn't expect." Having said that, Lin Haoyang stopped speaking, and other people naturally understood what Lin Haoyang meant. Zhu Fuqing was seriously injured and had been closed-door training for many years. I am afraid that I would have no way to come to him. Sun Shengxian looked surprised. Along the way, he was guessing what Lin Haoyang was calling for Zhu Fuqing, but he didn't expect that Lin Haoyang had come to ask for that Flaming Stone Mother. He had never even heard of it. When Lin Haoyang mentioned the mother of Flintstone, Zhu Chongshen's expression changed slightly. Zhu Fuqing got the mother of Flintstone 30 years ago, and he didn't expect anyone to know the news. Seeing that Zhu Chongshen's face did not change the color, Lin Haoyang also had no idea. After all, too many years had passed since this matter. Zhu Chongshen was silent for a while, and said in a deep and profound tone, "Lin, fellow Taoist, can you tell me, what magical item can be refined by the fire marble mother?" Lin Haoyang frowned. The magical item was refined, so secret that most people would never reveal it to outsiders. Zhu Chongshen also knew that he had offended, and hurriedly explained. "Lin, fellow Taoist, don't blame it, it's really that flaming mother stone is too special. Although it is a tier 4 spiritual creature, it is basically useless. The ancestors didn't know the role of this thing, only knew it was a tier 4 spiritual thing. I wanted to use it to exchange for spirit stones, but I didn't expect that nobody would want to buy it. Everyone didn't know the purpose of this flaming stone mother. I didn't know Lin Haoyang. Can you solve the puzzles 1 or 2? Quote. After hearing this, Lin Haoyang relaxed a little. It was exactly as Zhu Chongshen said. If he had not been very knowledgeable about refining tools, he would not know the use of flintite, and Lin Haoyang also knew a little about it from the knowledge of the magic weapon. 2. Fire marble mother, sexually exploded, has a natural fire cloud pattern on it, is extremely sensitive to the fire attribute spirit power, and has a bonus effect on the fire attribute cultivation technique power. Using it underneath is to refine a fire attribute magical item. Zhu, fellow Taoist, I can only tell you so much. Quote. 27%. Chapter 163. The Technique of Clinging Dragons and Gathering Spirits. Lin Haoyang's words are 9 points true and 1 point false. All the descriptions of the flaming might are from the magical means, but Lin Haoyang has not fully stated its purpose. Speaking of refining magical item, it does not mean refining mother-child soul chaser. If Zhu Chongshen knows that the flaming mother has such a magical effect, even if the flaming mother is still in the hands of the Zhu family, I am afraid the Zhu family was not willing to hand it over easily. Zhu, fellow Taoist, I have already explained his intentions and answered fellow Taoist's doubts. Can the fellow Taoist tell whether the fire marble mother is still in the hands of Zhu Senior or Zhu's family? Lin Haoyang asked. For Lin Haoyang's words, Zhu Chongshen also believed by 7 points, because Lin Haoyang's description was similar to the real flaming mother, and there was no way out. Even if Lin Haoyang lied, he could not find the loopholes. Ha ha ha. Lin, fellow Taoist, don't worry. The fire might mother is still in the hands of the ancestors, and the ancestors also had the intention to sell them, but no one originally bought it, so it has been sinking in their hands. But now the ancestors are in the closed door training. We are not good to disturb the ancestors. It is better for Lin, fellow Taoist, to live in my Jew's house first, and when the ancestor leaves the customs, I will notify Lin, fellow Taoist, as soon as possible. What do you think? Zhu Chong deleted. Lin Haoyang grinned and said, Zhu, fellow Taoist, I walked along the way and saw that Jew's town is not peaceful. Living here, I'm afraid I will be killed in the middle of the night. Another foundation building cultivator in the Zhu family, Zhu Chongzhen just wanted to drink it, but was stopped by Zhu Chongshen. Zhu Chongshen didn't care about Lin Haoyang's rudeness, just said, I think Lin Haoyang is also quite a bouffon as a cultivator. Why don't we make a deal? Lin Haoyang frowned slightly, and the topic came. Zhu Chongshen said so much, I am afraid it is for this time. Lin Haoyang smiled and said, Zhu, fellow Taoist, to be straightforward, I am a person, I don't like to bend. Presumably, that flaming mother is not in the hands of Zhu Senior. How can I exchange it? Please also ask fellow Taoist to draw a line. Ha ha ha. Lin, fellow Taoist, is really smart. The fire might mother is indeed in my hands, otherwise I won't be so clear about your judgment. You don't need a fellow Taoist or even a spirit stones if you want to exchange for flaming mothers. I need fellow Taoist you. If you have been in my Jew's house for 1 year and 1 year expires, this flaming mother is naturally your fellow Taoist. Speaking, Zhu Chongshen took out his storage bag, and a red ore the size of a human head appeared in Zhu Chongshen's hands. Just as Lin Haoyang said, the red color has a fire cloud pattern on it, and it also exudes a very obvious fire attribute spirit power. Lin Haoyang was overjoyed. He didn't expect that this Flintstone mother was actually there. Originally, Lin Haoyang had the mentality to give it a try. After all, this Flintstone mother was obtained by Zhu Fuqing more than 30 years ago. Soon, Zhu Chongshen put the Flintstone mother in his storage bag and said, How about Lin, fellow Taoist? The fire mica mother is in the hands. As long as the fellow Taoist promises my terms, we can naturally sign the soul oath, and no one can fake it. Lin Haoyang weighed the pros and cons in his mind. The value of this flaming stone mother was not low. Because of its large size, it was possible to sell 20,000 to 30,000 spirit stones when meeting someone who knew the goods. But if it is a person like Zhu Chongshan who does not know the goods, in his eyes, the value of the flaming stone mother is a bit more expensive than the ordinary fourth order lower grade spirits, and the value of 10,000 spirit stones will break through the sky. This is also Zhu Chongshan's willingness to take out this flaming stone mother to trade, and take a piece of spiritual object that can't be sold and has no purpose. At this time of crisis, he thinks it is profitable. What Lin Haoyang worries about is that the enemies facing the Zhu family are not only the three affiliated foundation building families, behind these three, there are even stronger forces hiding. As for what they were coveting about the Zhu family, Lin Haoyang couldn't guess. Okay, Zhu fellow Taoist, I promised, 1 year later, I will come to get the fire mica mother. Lin Haoyang said. Lin Haoyang agreed to Zhu Chongshan's request. The Zhu family foundation building and Sun Shengxian showed smiles on their faces. At this critical moment, without any more strength, the Zhu family would have more chances of overcoming the crisis. Soon, Zhu Chongshan and Lin Haoyang signed a soul oath. With the soul oath, Lin Haoyang didn't worry about Zhu Chongshan's repentance. After signing the soul oath, Zhu Chongshan's face was full of smiles and said, Shang Xian, take fellow Taoist Lin to find a suitable immortal cave to live in, and tell fellow Taoist Lin about the situation of our enemy by the way. Say it. Lin Haoyang followed Sun Shengxian and left the Zhu family's main hall, and found a quiet immortal cave on the main peak of the Zhu family. This immortal cave is the same as the outside, and the spirit power inside still cannot be absorbed. This year, I am afraid that Lin Haoyang will use spirit stones to maintain the cultivation base. If he wants to make progress, I am afraid that the number of spirit stones needed is not a small number. After that, Sun Shengxian gave Lin Haoyang some details about the three families, but Sun Shengxian had been avoiding the most important things. Lin Haoyang knew, I am afraid, there are some secrets hidden in it, a secret that the Zhu family did not want Lin Haoyang to know. After another half an hour, Sun Shengxian left, and Lin Haoyang wandered in the immortal cave alone. Unexpectedly, he was allowed to stay here for another year for a piece of flaming stone mother, and he was also involved in the disputes in Zhujiajun. Just as Lin Haoyang was thinking about what he was going to do later, Lin Haoyang's mind once again heard the voice of the golden dragon. Hey, I said, you kid, why do you get such weird things every time? Lin Haoyang was shocked, but he didn't expect that a fourth-order spiritual vein would even alarm the little golden dragon. Lin Haoyang hurriedly looked at Dantian inwardly, and as soon as he entered, he saw Dao Xiao Jinlong hovering above Lin Haoyang's spirit power ocean. Xiaojin, why, do you know what's going on here? Lin Haoyang asked. Little Jinlong nodded, and flew around in the air. The spirit power here is already dead spirit power, and can no longer absorb refining, and spirit power becomes dead spirit power. There are only two situations. First, the spirit power of this spiritual vein is exhausted, and the core of the spiritual vein is death. The surrounding spirit power will become dead spirit power, but this is rare. As long as the cultivator is well trained, the spirit veins can always absorb the spirit power in the air and continue to advance, and it is difficult for such spirit veins to appear dead veins. This is clearly not the case here. Quote, it was the first time that Lin Haoyang heard about death veins. The Lin family's spirit veins had been nurturing and advancing. This time, Xiao Jinlong's words were beyond Lin Haoyang's knowledge. Xiaojin, what's wrong with the spiritual veins here? Lin Haoyang asked. If it's not a natural death, then it must be man-made. There is a magic method called the method of judging dragons to gather spirits. This method can condense all the essence of a spiritual vein. Moreover, the technique of Julong gathering spirit is extremely secretive in the early stage, and it is difficult for people to discover, but in the future, the spiritual vein will gradually dry up, and in the end the spiritual vein will become a death vein, just like this one today. Little Jinlong said. Lin Haoyang didn't expect that there should be this kind of magic in this world, which could make the spirit vein death silently. Then what is the effect of this dragon gathering technique? Lin Haoyang asked. Little Jinlong was silent for a while, and said, the spirit power that condenses a spiritual vein is transformed into a spiritual essence chalcedony. This spiritual essence can help people condense nascent soul. 27%. Chapter 164. Lingyuan Chalcedony. Lin Haoyang was shocked when he heard Lingyuan Chalcedony. Lin Haoyang had heard of this kind of spiritual thing. Lingyuan Chalcedony is somewhat similar to spirit stones, and both contain extremely large spirit power. Spirit stones are spirit power poured into the ore, continuously purifying the ore. The spirit essence chalcedony is not the formation of spirit power pouring into the mine, but the gathering of spirit power, like chalcedony, continuously accumulating. Although the spirit essence stone marrow contains pure spirit power like the spirit stones, the spirit essence stone marrow possesses a hint of spirituality. This spirituality comes from the fact that the spirit essence stone marrow is condensed from the entire spiritual vein. The essence of a whole spiritual vein changed the chalcedony of the spiritual essence, giving him the characteristic of helping the cultivator to form babies. However, its efficacy is not as good as that of Jia Ying pill, which may increase the chance of golden core by 30–40% of the cultivator. For the ordinary golden core cultivator, Lingyuan Chalcedony is also a rare treasure, and it is definitely worth their heads and their lives. If the Zhu family's spirit veins were indeed used to cultivate the spirit essence chalcedony, all of this can be explained. Only such treasures can cause such competition. After that, Lin Haoyang and Xiao Jinlong talked for a while. Lin Haoyang thoroughly figured out the spiritual essence chalcedony, but Lin Haoyang didn't know where the spiritual essence chalcedony was in Zhujiajun. But Lin Haoyang didn't want to participate in the battle for Lingyuan chalcedony, such a precious treasure. Many people must have been eyeing it. Lin Haoyang guessed that maybe even Zhu Fuqing was just a fake injury. It was just to cover people's eyes and let others relax their vigilance. Soon, it has been 3 months since Lin Haoyang came to Zhujia town. During these 3 months, Zhujia town was extremely nervous. Any disturbance would cause a great reaction from the people. The Zhu family also activated the mountain protection formation and cut off all communication with the outside, but no one knows how many masters are hiding in Zhujiajun now. I am afraid that only the moment when the Lingyuan chalcedony is completely formed, these shadows hidden in the dark will be completely revealed and deal a fatal blow to the Zhu family. In the past 3 months, the Zhu family had not come to disturb Lin Haoyang. Even Sun Shengxian had passed through the future, as if Lin Haoyang had passed through Zhujiajun in the future. After another month, a sound transmission talisman flew into Lin Haoyang's immortal cave and opened it to see that it was Zhujiajun who asked Lin Haoyang to pour Ju's house down. Lin Haoyang smiled. It seemed that the Lingyuan chalcedony should be mature, and finally could not sit still. Without hesitation, he set up his escape and went straight to the Zhu family's main hall. Along the way, I knew that the Zhu family was on guard. If Zhu Chongshan had already ordered it, Lin Haoyang would have to spend a lot of money to rush to the Zhu family's main hall. Some effort. After a stick of incense, Lin Haoyang rushed to the main hall of Zhu's family. It was different from the last time he came. At this moment, the main hall was full of people. "Oh, Lin fellow Taoist, long time no see, come here." As soon as Lin Haoyang arrived, Sun Shengxian saw him from a distance and shouted to him. Lin Haoyang did not refuse, and strode to Sun Shengxian's side. Looking around, I found that there are no fewer than 10 foundation building cultivators in the main hall at the moment. Of course, there must be many rogue cultivators like Lin Haoyang. But just based on this appeal, the Zhu family's background is truly amazing. While observing, Lin Haoyang chatted with Sun Shengxian about the past few months. Sun Shengxian slowly said with a smile until Zhu Chongshan appeared as the head of the Zhu family. As soon as Zhu Chongshan appeared, it immediately attracted the attention of the people in the main hall, and the noisy main hall was quiet. Everyone, the most critical moment has arrived. 3 days later, those thieves will surely attack the mountain. By that time, everyone will take action. Zhu Chongshan said. Lin Haoyang's heart moved. It seems that there are still 3 days. I am afraid that the spiritual essence will be completely formed, and all parties will come to snatch it at that time. Don't be so upset, you guys. The mountain protection formation in Zhujia town is divided into 2 formations, except for the large formation outside. There is also a large defensive formation above the Zhu family's main peak. This large defensive formation is a tier 4 mid-rank, and with your help, it is not easy to break this great formation. Quote. Zhu Chongshan's words are amazing. Even Lin Haoyang didn't expect that this Zhu family actually has a large inner formation, 2 sets of formations, and the cost of spirit stones is unknown. This Zhu family is really rich in wealth. It is worthy of being a 4th-rank family that has been inherited for more than 500 years. Newly increased families like the Lin family are unmatched. Fortunately, it will take a few more years to reach the level of the Zhu family. After that, Zhu Chongshan began to arrange tasks. Lin Haoyang was arranged to the north of Zhu Feng of the Zhu family. Together with Lin Haoyang, there were 3 other foundation building cultivators. However, Lin Haoyang's cultivation base is the highest. The other 3, 2 men and 1 woman, cultivation base are the 6th floor of the foundation building, the 3rd floor of the foundation building and the 4th floor of the foundation building. There are 4 foundation building cultivators on the back to defend, plus Ju's pulse cultivator and tier 4 formation. I am afraid that it will be difficult for 7 or 8 foundation building cultivators to break through the formation. At the end of the main hall meeting, Zhu Chongshan deliberately left Lin Haoyang and 3 other foundation building cultivators. Sun Shangxian was also among them. After everyone left, Zhu Chongshan said, "You fellow Taoist, east, west, north, south, and all sides are bound to withstand fierce attacks from the enemy. The 4 foundation building cultivators of my Zhu family will take care of it. If any party doesn't support it, we will rush over to support it as soon as possible." Lin Haoyang frowned. The Zhu family doesn't pay for it. Rogue cultivators like them are used to stop them from east, west, north, and south. Are they afraid that they will run? At that time, as long as one party collapsed and the other 4 sides couldn't hold on for long, Lin Haoyang looked at the other 2 people and shook his head. Both of them were just like rogue cultivators and couldn't ask anything. "Zhu fellow Taoist, although you and I have a deal, I won't bet on own life. When I can't hold on to it, I will naturally withdraw. Please also Zhu fellow Taoist forgive me," Lin Haoyang said. Zhu Chongshan frowned. Although he knew that this must be the case, Lin Haoyang still had some discord when he said it at this time. Seeing this, 2 other rogue cultivators also said in the same voice. "The same is true for the 2 of us. When necessary, we will give up defense. Although Zhu fellow Taoist is well paid, we have to have our lives." Zhu Chongshan's expression completely changed at this moment. Only he himself knew what the Zhu family was plotting, and how many people would be brought to snatch it. If there were Lin Haoyang and others desperately defending, then their chances of success would increase and their losses would be less. It seems that by then, even his Zhu family's foundation building must also be up, in order to give Zhu Fuqing some opportunities. Although Zhu Chongshan hated Lin Haoyang a little in his heart, he still had a pleasant face and said to the 3 Lin Haoyang, "3 fellow Taoists, don't worry. As long as 3 fellow Taoists do their best, they can't talk about their hard work, and they will not come to nascent soul masters, they are just small fish in the 3 foundation building families." Listening to this, Lin Haoyang sneered in his heart. If it hadn't been for Xiao Jinlong to tell him about the spirit essence chalcedony, I am afraid he would really be kept in the dark. Then the 3 retreated and each went to the defensive position. Inside the Zhu family's main hall, Zhu Chongshan hugged Sun Shangxian, his face grim, and said, "This Lin Haoyang still wants the flaming mother, dream." 28%. Chapter 165. Fight. Lin Haoyang didn't know what happened in the main hall, but Lin Haoyang was suspicious of Zhu Chongshan. From the time Zhu Chongshan concealed the Lingyuan chalcedony, he felt that this matter was not simple. In the end, even his Flintstone mother would fail. But now that the other party hasn't torn his face, Lin Haoyang naturally can't leave like this. Lin Haoyang came to the north of the Zhu family's main peak. Most of these are some of the Zhu family's spiritual fields. Because of a problem with spirit power, these spiritual fields have long been abandoned and no spiritual rice can be grown. But these deserted spiritual fields alone are close to 400 or 500 acres, and the Zhu family really spent a lot of money on this spiritual essence. Lin Haoyang shook his head. With such a sluggish fishing method, this Zhu family must also be a hard-hearted and cruel person. It seems that the most important thing he should pay attention to is probably Zhu Fuqing, the ancestor of the Zhu family. Just when Lin Haoyang was thinking about everything, he had already arrived at the northern line of defense. There are close to 100 people in the cultivator here. Counting him, the foundation building cultivator also has 4 people. Such a scale is enough to block the attack of the next foundation building cultivator. When Lin Haoyang escaped the light, the other 3 foundation building cultivators hurriedly dared to come. Lin Haoyang cultivation base was the highest here. By then, the person who resisted was the strongest person in cultivation base. All the defenses to the north were naturally decided by Lin Haoyang. "How do you call fellow Taoist?" Yang Yizhang wrote on the 6th floor of the foundation building. In the next Lin Haoyang, thanks to 3 fellow Taoist praises. Lin Haoyang said politely. Under Yang Yizhang, flow in the middle of the willow. Under Tang Union, the 4 introduced themselves one after another, and they were somewhat familiar with each other. Lin, fellow Taoist. Among us, I am afraid that you are the only one who knows the Zhu family's affairs the most. The Zhu family is also the most rewarding. Lu Zongliu glanced around and found that no one was eavesdropping, so he continued cautiously. The three of us guessed that the Zhu family faced this time, probably not just the counterattack of the three affiliated families, there must be other reasons for this. Lin Haoyang was shocked. It seemed that these three were not fools, but it was naturally impossible for Lin Haoyang to tell them about the Lingyuan Chalcedony, so he said. Fellow Taoist is right, and I have this guess, but I don't know exactly what the reason is. I only know that, I am afraid that what we face next will be a hard fight. Quote. The trio's complexion changed. Although they predicted that the next battle might be a bit difficult, after all, the rewards given by the Zhu family were too generous. But now hearing what Lin Haoyang said, the three felt that the difficulty of this mission was far beyond their imagination. It might not be good, and they might have lost their lives for it. Afterwards, Lin Haoyang talked with the three for a while, and learned that the three had known each other a long time ago, and they came here because of Sun Shengxian's recommendation. According to the trio, as long as they help the Zhu family to keep for 1 year, they will give each person 6,000 spirit stones and sign the soul oath. No one can receive 2,000 spirit stones first. Under such temptation, the three will come here. Except for the three of them, the rewards of others are similar. After hearing the words of the three of them, Lin Haoyang knew why the Zhu family could invite so many cultivators. Such a reward, it would be a rogue cultivators who would be tempted to listen to it. A sneer appeared at the corner of Lin Haoyang's mouth, but he didn't say anything to the three of them. After a few brief conversations, he found a lotus position and waited for the enemy to attack. Seeing that Lin Haoyang didn't want to say more, the three only guessed that Lin Haoyang didn't know the specific willingness, so they had to find a location and waited for the enemy to attack. 3 days passed quickly, and Lin Haoyang's voice came from Xiao Jinlong's mind early this morning. There are still 3 hours to complete the formation of Lingyuan Chalcedony. I sense its breath. It should be in the southeast direction of this mountain. Lin Haoyang was overjoyed, but he didn't expect Xiao Jinlong to sense the position of the Lingyuan Chalcedony. Since the Lingyuan Chalcedony is in the southeast, the most pressure should be in the southeast, and the pressure on their side will be much relieved. Lin Haoyang didn't have much desire for Lingyuan Chalcedony. He had only one purpose, and that was Fire Cloud Chalcedony. Soon after Xiao Jinlong's voice appeared in Lin Haoyang's mind, an enemy appeared in Lin Haoyang's eyes. As soon as this living person appeared, Lin Haoyang shot out. Behind Lin Haoyang, the other three dared to come. Standing outside the inner formation on the north side of Zujia town at the moment, there are 8 foundation building cultivators, almost 3 times the number of Lin Haoyang and the others. 8 foundation building cultivators. If the demon is in an open area, Lin Haoyang and others may not be opponents, but relying on formation and hundreds of famous cultivators, these 8 foundation buildings are not enough to break through the big formation and kill them. The 4 fellow Taoists inside must not be the cultivator of the Zhu family. Why don't you open the formation and let me wait? What the Zhu family can give you, I will give you twice. Lin Haoyang narrowed his eyes. This was a bit unexpected. These people didn't immediately attack and weaken the strength of the inner formation, but began to lobby instead. I'm afraid this person also knows that the 8 of them can't break this big formation at all. Fellow Taoist, if I had not taken the soul oath, I would definitely agree to the conditions of the fellow Taoist, but now the soul oath is set. Fellow Taoist, don't harm me. Lin Haoyang joked. Hearing Lin Haoyang mention the soul oath, the other 3 foundation building rogue cultivators also lost their minds and focused on defense. As for the foundation building late-stage cultivator headed by outside the formation, his face has changed. Obviously, Lin Haoyang's determination is a little bit beyond his expectations. But soon, a smile appeared on his face again. This time, the plan has been extremely beating for a long time. How could something change because of several foundation buildings? Lin Haoyang frowned when the people outside the formation stopped talking. He was so confident in many ways, there must be a backhand, and there was no need to talk to them. The more the other party is like this, the more afraid he is, actually is not afraid of the 8 people outside, but afraid of his flamboyant hen flying eggs. The other 3 foundation building cultivators didn't think so much. Anyway, sooner or later they have to match up. The later they get started, the better it will be for them. They don't move here. Other directions are naturally under great pressure. The 3 sides, south, east and west, are all under great pressure. Each side has more than 10 foundation building cultivators. With such pressure, even if there is a fourth-order big formation, the three-party foundation building cultivator is also under great pressure. Because the Zhu family's mountain guarding formation did not link the spirit veins, it only relied on the belief that it provided spirit power and spirit stones. Naturally, only the foundation building and the coagulation cultivator are on top. For a time, the three-sided cultivator is already in danger. I am afraid that in another time, the three-party foundation building cultivator will not be able to hold it. In a cave to the southeast of Zhu's house, Zhu Chongshan stood behind an old man, who was dressed in plain clothes and his hair and beard were all white. However, his whole body of spirit power has reached the peak of golden core, and this person is the ancestor of the Zhu family Zhu Fuqing. Chongshan, there are still 3 hours left for the Lingyuan chalcedony to fully grow, so we must support these 3 hours. After I have the baby, I will automatically remove the restrictions for you. Zhu Fuqing said. A strange color flashed in Zhu Chongshan's eyes, and said. Chongshan would like to follow the name of the ancestor. Yeah, Zhu Fuqing nodded, then waved to make Zhu Fuqing retreat. After Zhu Chongshan exited the cave, Zhu Fuqing's face showed a trace of madness, and his eyes were blood red. 28%. Chapter 166 Golden Core Shots. An hour later, the onslaught of more than 30 foundation building cultivators finally came into play. The original solid fourth order array was shaking, and it was on the verge of collapse. At this moment, 3 Taoist shadows appeared outside the Zhujiahushan inner formation. The aura of these two people had surpassed the foundation building and came to the golden core realm. Finally, the golden core cultivator was about to take action, but Lin Haoyang did not expect that there were 3 golden cores on the opposite side. In this way, I am afraid that this mountain protection formation will not be able to defend it. On the north line of defense, 8 foundation building cultivators saw 3 golden cores appear, and they no longer hide themselves, and began a fierce attack on the Zhu family. Originally, the Zhu family's large array was already shaking, and now 8 foundation buildings have been added. 40 foundation building cultivators attacked and fell on the mountain guard array, making this large array even more precarious. On the west side of the line, they have been struggling for an hour, and most of the condensing cultivator they received has exhausted the spirit power, and they are all supporting it while recovering the spirit power. They themselves have consumed more than 50% of spirit power. Seeing that the big formation is about to be breached, the leading rogue cultivators shouted. Why isn't the support of the Zhu family coming? Didn't you say that there will be support if you can't stand it? HMPH, it seems that the Zhu family has no plans to help us, he must be thinking about letting us fight them hard. Another foundation building said. Since the Zhu family is not righteous, don't blame me for being ruthless. With some strength, when the big battle breaks, we will immediately run away. Let the Zhu family play by yourself. The headed rogue cultivators said gloomily. Such a scene was staged on both the west and south sides, but Sun Shengxian comforted him on the south side, and the situation was better. On the top of the Zhu family's main peak, Zhu Chongshan stands with his back on his back. Standing behind him are about 20 foundation building cultivators. Except for the 3 Zhu family foundation buildings that Lin Haoyang saw before, they are still normal, the others are all shrouded in black robes, and they are full of blood and evil spirits. Dage, I'm afraid that this inner formation will soon be unable to hold it. When the time comes, they will not be able to hold it for half an hour. Zhu Chongqing frowned. No, these foundation buildings outside are just a concealment. The first task is to guard the entrance and never let them in. Otherwise, you know what is waiting for us. After finishing speaking, Zhu Chongshan hid in the top of Zhu's family with a kind of black robe. Boom. Soon after Zhu Chongshan and others left, the 3 golden cores shot at the same time, and jointly blasted the weakest point on the Zhu family's inner formation. The Zhu family's inner formation was originally swayed by storms, and could be breached at any time. Now that the 3 golden cores practiced their hands and attacked, the inner formation suddenly couldn't support it, and it collapsed in an instant. After breaking the formation, the 3 golden cores did not manage the golden core cultivator in all directions, but went straight to the southeast of Zhu's house. The moment the formation was breached, Lin Haoyang's expression suddenly changed, knowing that he could not bear it anymore, and from beginning to end, the Zhu family foundation building had never appeared. Lin Haoyang concluded that all the members of the Zhu family were in the southeast direction at this moment. Lin Haoyang exchanged glances with the other 3, but after a few breaths after the formation was broken, the 4 chose a direction to escape, and each fled. Seeing Lin Haoyang and the four of them fleeing so decisively, the 8 people were slightly startled, but they followed closely, and the group of 8 people chased Lin Haoyang and the others in pairs. Following Lin Haoyang are the headed person and a foundation-building late-stage cultivator. Lin Haoyang glanced back, and the 2 foundation-building cultivators that came after him were just foundation-building late-stage cultivators, and Lin Haoyang could not threaten him. Since Lin Haoyang learned how to escape from the fire, Lin Haoyang's speed has already reached the subversion of the foundation building. The 2 chased after Lin Haoyang, but instead of being able to catch up, Lin Haoyang was thrown further and further away. Seeing that he could not catch up with Lin Haoyang, his face was gloomy, and he said to the person next to him. Each of them took out a third-order high-speed talisman from the storage bag and patted them on themselves. The high-speed talisman of the third-order top grade is very effective, directly making the speed of the 2 ascension close to 50%, so that the speed is 2 points faster than Lin Haoyang. Lin Haoyang found that the 2 of them were so persistent, and was also a little angry. He and these people were not feuds of life and death, but they were all for profit. You guys are so close, do you really think I'm a muddle-headed man? Lin Haoyang stopped. No more plans to escape. Seeing that Lin Haoyang is no longer running, the 2 people behind saw that Lin Haoyang was no longer running. Their faces were happy. 2 to 1, the probability that they would win Lin Haoyang, they thought that there was a 60 to 70%, so they were so desperate to chase after. Soon, the 2 caught up with Lin Haoyang. Boy, I told you before that as long as you don't cooperate with the Zhu family, I will give you generous rewards. Now that the formation is broken, not only the reward is not available, but even the own life will be lost. The foundation-building cultivator rode. Lin Haoyang frowned, but it was difficult to talk with his nonsense, and his skills changed, and the Zunyuan sword flew out immediately. When the 2 opposite people saw such a scene, their expressions changed immediately. It was Lin Haoyang's flying sword, the speed was too fast. The 2 were too late to start, each offering a bell and a drum, and 2 defensive magical items. The foundation-building cultivator headed at this moment finally changed color. Originally, he wanted to kill Lin Haoyang and make a windfall, but now it seems that they have encountered hardship. Fellow Taoist, it's all wrong. Seeing that the situation is not right, the leader wants to stop. But where did Lin Haoyang give him a chance? He would fight if he said to fight or withdraw if he said to withdraw. How could it be that easy? Lin Haoyang patted the storage bag again, and the Dragon Yuan sword appeared in his hand. Lin Haoyang had the spirit power, and the long Yuan sword was immediately wrapped in a black spirit power. Only in an instant, the Dragon Abyss sword also slashed at the 2 of them again. The Dragon Abyss sword is a tier 4 magical item, and its power is far more powerful than the Zunyuan sword. The long Yuan sword suddenly slashed on the leading bell-shaped magical item, and the Black Dragon Abyss slashed on the golden bell. There was a gust of wind suddenly, and the leading cultivator behind the golden clock suddenly changed his complexion. With a blow, a crack appeared on his bell-shaped magical item. Zhao, fellow Taoist, this person's strength is far beyond my imagination. There is even a tier 4 magical item in his hand. Such strength is no longer what the 2 of me can deal with. I have 2 tier 3 high-grade magic talisman in my hand. After dragging 1 or 2, each find a direction and flee. Lead, the cultivator said. Another foundation building late stage nodded. He was also frightened by Lin Haoyang's methods, knowing that he was far from Lin Haoyang's opponent. Go. Finding a flaw in Lin Haoyang, the leading foundation building cultivator drank, and 2 tier 3 high-grade thunder fires went straight to Lin Haoyang. The thunder fire turned into 2 thunder fires in the air. Lin Haoyang had expected it a long time ago. The 8 trigrams copper plate suddenly appeared in front of Lin Haoyang. As soon as the 8 trigrams copper plate was turned, the 2 colors of water and soil brightened, and Lin Haoyang was blocked by the water and soil barrier evolved from the 8 trigrams copper plate. The thunder and fire fell on the water and soil barrier, and it was immediately blocked. After a roar, the water and soil barrier split, and the remaining power of the thunder and fire talisman fell on the 8 trigrams copper plate, which did not cause much damage to the 8 trigrams copper plate. The leading cultivator saw Lin Haoyang so easily block the Thunderfire Spirit Talisman, and if he dared to fight again, he immediately withdrew from the defense. Taking advantage of Lin Haoyang's breath, he immediately fled. Want to go? Late. 28%. Chapter 167. Lin Haoyang was really angry this time, and he had already murdered the 2 of them. The speed talisman of the 2 is still effective at the moment, and the speed flashed, they escaped a very long distance. The art of escape from dry flames. In an instant, Lin Haoyang turned into a flame and chased a foundation-building late-stage cultivator. Lin Haoyang, who used the art of escaping the flames, had reached the golden core early stage. Just 10 breaths of effort, he caught up with him. The person saw Lin Haoyang's speed, and he knew that there was no hope of surviving. He wanted to beg Lin Haoyang for mercy, but Long Yuan had already killed him and didn't open his mouth at all. Opportunity to speak. This person hurriedly released the drum-shaped defense magical item, but this person was not Lin Haoyang's opponent at all. After just a stick of incense, Lin Haoyang's head was beheaded. Lin Haoyang took down the person's storage bag expressionlessly, not looking the same, hit a real fire, burned it to ashes, and went straight to the lead foundation-building late-stage cultivator to chase him. Only a pile of broken drums and a pile of fly ash were left in place. After slaying this person, Lin Haoyang once again performed the technique of escaping the flames and fire. Although the leading cultivator had a speed talisman attached to his body, Lin Haoyang's art of escaping the flames and fire was more powerful by 3 points. In addition, when fighting with the two of them just now, the black light on the Longyuan sword had already left a mark on this person's bell-shaped magical item, and he couldn't escape Lin Haoyang's palm. The two chased Lin Haoyang all the way, and they had already left the scope of Ju's family. Lin Haoyang used the technique of escaping the flames, and finally intercepted him before returning to Zhujiajun. Seeing Lin Haoyang, the foundation-building late-stage cultivator headed by the foundation-building late-stage cultivator, the fear in his heart had reached the extreme, but in such a short time, Lin Haoyang killed another person and chased him. This strength was completely beyond his ability to resist. At this moment, only begged Lin Haoyang to let him go. Fellow Taoist, what if you put me a yard, all my belongings will be given to fellow Taoist. The foundation-building cultivator, headed by the foundation-building cultivator, took off the storage bag and held it in his hand, and said to Lin Haoyang, hoping that it would earn a life. You won't be forgiving. Now that you know that you have not hard bones, you know to pretend to be counseled and let you go. I don't know how many she-males will be attacked by you. Lin Haoyang was not a soft-hearted person. These times, he had been against him 3 times, and he had not had a life or death enmity. He had also joined hands to chase him down. If Lin Haoyang had not had some means, he would probably be killed here. Since the fellow Taoist doesn't leave any way to survive, I will also fight it. The leader of the foundation-building late-stage cultivator said angrily. Then, this person successively sacrificed 2 Tier 3 magical items, a flying sword, and a black bell. Flying sword killed his life, and the bell was stunned. With the 2 magical items in his hand, this person didn't know how many opponents he had killed. Now he is not sure about Lin Haoyang. When Lin Haoyang saw the black bell that this person pulled out, he immediately became interested. The general bell-type magical item is not the sonic magical item, or the soul-catching magical item. In the process of refining magical item, it is beneficial to learn more from other people's experience, especially on magical items such as soul catching. At this moment when Lin Haoyang hesitated, this person had already urged the soul catching bell, ringing invisible sound waves to Lin Haoyang. Contemplating attacks are invisible and colorless. Even the 8 trigrams copper plate cannot defend against such attacks, unless it is a special spirit-type armor. Suddenly, there was a roar in Lin Haoyang's mind, and he suddenly lost his hearing, and the world fell silent. Lin Haoyang's expression was solemn. He still underestimated the attacking power of the bell. Lin Haoyang hand seals in his hand, urging the 8 trigrams copper plate to protect his whole body. This bell not only blocked his hearing, his other perceptions were also weakened, and even the spirits could not concentrate. It's interesting, Lin Haoyang said, and then began to operate soul concentration. Contemplation was originally a tool spell of the spirit of the soul. Once the contemplation of soul was in operation, it immediately eliminated the influence of the contemplation sound wave by 50%. For Lin Haoyang, the remaining impact can be completely resisted. The leading foundation-building cultivator is now urging Flying Sword to attack Lin Haoyang's magical item wildly, but the 8 trigrams copper plate is too powerful, and he has no chance to attack Lin Haoyang. Just when this person was anxious, Lin Haoyang had already urged soul concentration, suppressing the influence of the bell. The foundation-building cultivator headed by the foundation-building cultivator was shocked again, and I couldn't think of why Lin Haoyang could even block the bell. Seeing this, how could he dare to fight again? After activating the bell fiercely, he issued the strongest attack of the bell, and wanted to escape. Lin Haoyang urged soul concentration and built a divine sense wall to block the bell's attack. But after all, his face turned pale, and he was hurt to the soul, depressing divine sense in a severe pain, urging the soul-fixing technique, and hitting the foundation-building cultivator headed by him. At this moment, Lin Haoyang didn't keep his hands. With his current strength of soul, how this person resisted the soul-fixing technique, he was directly beaten into a state of confusion. Lin Haoyang urged Long Yuan and cut off his head until he died. This person didn't know how he died. This person died. Flying sword and the bell were uncontrolled, and they fell to the ground. Lin Haoyang hurriedly took it in his hands. Lin Haoyang threw the flying sword directly into the storage bag. Lin Haoyang couldn't put it down for this bell. He took this person again as a storage bag before he burned it into ashes. After beheading the two, Lin Haoyang returned to Zhujiajun. Lin Haoyang didn't know if it was God's will. When meeting the 3 golden core cultivators outside Zhujia town, Lin Haoyang felt that this trip might have to go home empty-handed. Regarding food from the 3 golden core cultivators, Lin Haoyang thought he could not do it. But at this moment, the main peak of Zhujia town was shaking, and then a spirit power spell was written off. Immediately afterwards, dense clouds shrouded in the sky, and a burst of bloody spirit rose into the sky. Seeing this scene, Lin Haoyang's eyes condensed, and he worked with demon cultivator several times. Naturally, he recognized this breath, and there must be a demon cultivator in Zhujia town. Judging from the weather, these are fighting in the southeast of Zhujia town, and where is the place where the Lingyuan Chalcedony was born? Counting the time, I am afraid that there will be half an hour before the Lingyuan Chalcedony will fully mature. The battle between the two sides also arrived at the most intense place. With the appearance of Demon Cultivator, Lin Haoyang instantly became familiar with places that Lin Haoyang didn't understand. Before, he couldn't understand why the Zhu family had spent so much effort to cultivate the spiritual essence Chalcedony. This kind of self-destruction method was really against the heavens. If Zhu Fuqing, Zhu Chongshan and others entered Devil Dao, all of this has naturally been established. In order to be able to give birth to a baby, Zhu Fuqing naturally did not care about the spiritual veins. And Zhu Chongshan must have also been planted by Zhu Fuqing restrictions, so that it is possible to cultivate the spiritual essence of the clan. As for the 3 golden cores, I'm afraid that Zhu Fuqing had already fallen into demons. Otherwise, the old nascent soul demons are about to be born, and moving to the mountain sect will inevitably send nascent soul cultivator to suppress them. The intervention of demon cultivator rebalanced the unbalanced battle between the two sides. Lin Haoyang was fighting with Diva in his heart. After hesitating for a while, Lin Haoyang decided to go to the southeast of Zhujia town first. Even if you don't get the fire marble mother, you can't let the old nascent soul demon appear, otherwise, it will be a life-staining. 28%. Chapter 168. Zhu Zhongshan's demonization. Lin Haoyang quietly touched the southeast of Zhujia town. It should be because the inner formation had been breached, and Lin Haoyang did not encounter any obstacles. When passing the southern defensive front, Lin Haoyang saw a corpse. Most of these people were Jews cultivators. The moment the Great Array was breached, the fate of these people was already doomed. A dozen foundation building cultivators were chased and killed, and they had no chance to escape. As for the corpse of the foundation building cultivator, Lin Haoyang did not see it. It may have escaped during the chaos, or it was already burned to fly ashes. Soon, Lin Haoyang crossed the southern defensive line and came to the southeast area of Zhu's house. As soon as he entered here, Lin Haoyang saw that the surrounding mountains were almost flattened by spells and were devastated. At this moment, the brilliance of spells rose to the sky from time to time, but the center of the battle group was in a sinkhole. This Tianqing is more than 100 meters deep, and the surrounding rock walls don't seem to have been excavated, but more like they were destroyed by external forces. And in the Tianqing, a faint beam of light ascended to the sky. A long distance away, Lin Haoyang could feel the rich spirit power contained in it, so he guessed that the Tianqing is the core of the contention here, the Lingyuan stone marrow. Lin Haoyang could not see the battle under the Tianqing, but according to the scale of the Tianqing destroyed, there were already 3 golden cores and Zhu Fuqing, the ancestor of the Zhu family. Lin Haoyang frowned. Under the Tianqing, temporarily unable to go, but above the Tianqing, he was already in a melee. Originally, there were nearly 40 foundation building cultivators who attacked the mountain. After the first round of losses, only about 30 people remained. On the Zhu family's side, there were suddenly more than 20 black-robed cultivators. These black-robed cultivators all operate magic power, the evil spirits are scattered, and the methods are the methods of demon cultivator. In addition, the foundation building cultivator of Ju's family was even tied with the demon cultivator who attacked the mountain, and no one was able to take advantage. Lin Haoyang hid in a piece of rubble, and began to look for Zhu Chongshen's figure. When such a war happened in the Zhu family, Zhu Chongshen would naturally bring important things with him. Therefore, finding Zhu Chongshen is equivalent to finding the Flaming Mother. After searching for a while, Lin Haoyang finally fixed his gaze on a mountain col, where the fighting technique was huge. But the distance was too far, Lin Haoyang couldn't be sure. In order not to stun the snake, Lin Haoyang went back the same way and took a long circle before he came to the back of the mountain col. Seeing the scene in the mountain col, Lin Haoyang couldn't help being shocked. Looking down from the top, he saw 3 foundation building late stage besieging a 2-person monster. This monster is covered with thick scales, has sharp claws in its hands, and has a pair of big horns on its head, without hair. Although he had fought against Demon Cultivator several times, Lin Haoyang was still surprised by these methods. Originally, Zhu Chongshen's strength was only on the 8th floor of the foundation building. It was basically impossible to deal with 3 foundation building late-stage cultivators. But after its demonization, it was able to fight against the 3 of them, and it was still suppressed. Seeing this situation, Lin Haoyang frowned. It stands to reason that the Zhu family is a 4th-rank family for many years. As the patriarch of the Zhu family, Zhu Chongshen will naturally have several 4th-rank magical items in his hands. However, once Zhu Chongshen entered Devil Dao, his spirit power began to be different from ordinary cultivators, and the heritage left by the Zhu family was naturally useless. Even the Tier 4 magical item, Zhu Chongshen could only watch. If it weren't for Zhu Fuqing to fall in love with Nascent Soul, he would fall into Devil Dao. Forcing them to join the Zhu family high levels to join Devil Dao, disciples of the aristocratic family, few were willing to become Demon Cultivator. Demon Cultivator was called and beaten everywhere, and as long as it was discovered, all the righteous cultivators would join forces to attack it. Moreover, some of the inheritance of the disciples of the aristocratic family is basically useless to them. Just like ordinary cultivator cannot use Demon Cultivator magical item, Demon Cultivator cannot use righteous magical item either. Zhu Chongshen didn't have the heart to get into the devil, but was transformed into such a monster by Zhu Fuqing. Originally, based on his aptitude, as long as he had enough opportunities, there was a chance that he could step into the golden core by his ability. But everything was destroyed by Zhu Fuqing. Every time he thought of this, Zhu Chongshen wanted to smash Zhu Fuqing, the ancestor of the Zhu family. But Zhu Fu planted restrictions in his body early in the morning. As long as he is disobedient, I am afraid that only death will wait for him. The attack of the 3 foundation building cultivators fell on Zhu Chongshen, but they could break some scales, and could not cause much substantial damage to Zhu Chongshen. However, under the continuous attack of the 3 of them, Zhu Chongshen's scales were mostly broken, and there was still a huge wound between his chest and abdomen. But the other 3 were not in a good state. After Zhu Chongshen was demonized, his physical strength was comparable to Tier 4 demonic beasts, but there was no inner alchemy. Although Zhu Chongshen was demonized, most of his robe was missing, but there was a belt of special material wrapped around his waist. On the belt, there was Zhu Chongshen's storage bag. Although the 3 men had countless attacks on Zhu Chongshen, they could not damage the belt. Seeing the storage bag, Lin Haoyang's eyes lit up. Originally, Lin Haoyang didn't like to snatch other people's treasures in his heart. But when Zhu Chongshen stepped into Devil Dao, naturally he could no longer use common sense to rob Zhu Chongshen, which was still a way of eliminating harm for the people. However, the 2 sides are killing right now, and Lin Haoyang's sudden move may cause unnecessary misunderstandings. Lin Haoyang hid from the side. He was looking for an opportunity that would allow him to take action. At this moment, the 3 foundation building late-stage sacrificed a 4th order formation and jointly forced Zhu Chongshen to retreat. As soon as the 4th order formation came out, Zhu Chongshen was instantly suppressed. After Zhu Chongshen was demonized, his control over the spell spirit power became weaker, but for the power, it was ascending to the extreme. And the Tier 4 formation performed by the 3 of them was only used by the 3 of them to prepare to deal with demonic beasts in the future, which just restrained Zhu Chongshen's strengths. The formation of the 3 people's release is a formation of wood properties. Under the control of the 3 people, vines with the thickness of a small leg entangled up. These vines are very tough, and even Zhu Chongshen can only break a few of them with strength comparable to Tier 4 demonic beasts, but these vines seem to be infinite, and they will grow again after breaking. Lin Haoyang, who was hiding by the side, suddenly brightened his eyes. As expected, he was dozing off, so he gave him a pillow. With a flash of Lin Haoyang's feet, he rushed towards Zhu Chongshan very secretly. At this moment, Zhu Chongshan was trying hard to break free from the vines, and he didn't even notice Lin Haoyang, who was diving behind him. And the 3 foundation building cultivators are now fully implementing the 4th order formation, and they have no time to pay attention to Zhu Chongshan's behind. In just 2 or 3 breaths, Lin Haoyang came behind Zhu Chongshan. Coming here, Lin Haoyang has entered the scope of the 4th order formation, and within the 4th order formation, of course, he has also entered the perception of the 3 foundation building cultivators. Who? A thin and weak cultivator shouted, trying to scare Lin Haoyang away, but Lin Haoyang had already calculated the reaction of the 3 of them. At this moment, the fighting method between the 2 sides has reached the most critical moment, and he can't care about him at all. The long yuan sword appeared in Lin Haoyang's hand, and he slashed it towards Zhu Chongshan's waist. The sword that Lin Haoyang stabbed was not just to cut off the belt around his waist, he didn't keep his hand, and Zhu Chongshan would definitely be injured if he went down with this sword. At this critical moment, Zhu Chongshan's eyes reddened and he fell into a state of rampage. At this critical moment, he also offered his final means. 28%. Chapter 169. The Birth of Lingyuan Chalcedony. After Zhu Chongshan fell into a state of demonization, he fully reached the strength of Tier 4 demonic beasts, and even Lin Haoyang was secretly surprised. Devil Dao is really afraid that with such a crazy ascension strength, it is no wonder that so many people can't stand the temptation of power and fall into Devil Dao. Lin Haoyang had already cut out with a sword, and it was too late to retreat. Zhu Chongshan's eyes blushed, his muscles bulged, and the vines entwining him were mostly broken by him in an instant. After losing the restriction of the vines, Zhu Chongshan slapped back and patted the long Yuanjian straight. Seeing this, Lin Haoyang frowned. When Zhu Chongshan fell into a runaway state, his strength increased by 3 points. Even if he was hit, he would probably be seriously injured. Zhu Chongshan's violent increase in power is to pay the price of burning his life. In this state, he can only maintain a stick of incense for the time. Therefore, Zhu Chongshan must solve the opponent within a stick of incense, otherwise, wait. His can only be death. Seeing that Zhu Chongshan's demonized giant claws were about to slap on the Dragon Abyss sword, but the speed of the Dragon Abyss sword abruptly, almost twice as fast, evading Zhu Chongshan's giant claws mysteriously. Bump. As soon as Zhu Chongshan snapped a photo on the ground, a large swath of smoke was raised. Seeing this, Lin Haoyang smiled and controlled the Dragon Yuan sword to continue to cut away from the waist of Zhu Chongshan. Lin Haoyang hasn't used it a few times since he became a shadow streamer. After this time, Zhu Chongshan's heavy body couldn't keep up with the speed of his flying sword. Seeing a miss, Zhu Chongshan's eyes were angry. Lin Haoyang's flying sword speed was far beyond his imagination. He glanced at Lin Haoyang, no longer cared about Long Yuanjian, directly raised a punch and slammed Lin Haoyang himself. Before the fist arrived, Long Yuanjian slashed on the belt first, and the material of the belt was no less than the 3rd order top-grade material. If it were just an ordinary Tier 3 top-grade magical item, it would definitely cut this belt, but the Dragon Abyss sword was extremely sharp, and along with the belt, it cut into the deep flesh and blood of Zhu Chongshan's finger. Because of Zhu Chongshan's turning around, this sword slashed into Zhu Chongshan's abdomen, with a deep finger. Without seeing the organs, you can see how terrifying this demonization is. The belt was cut off. Zhu Chongshan's fist did not stop, still hitting Lin Haoyang, and the other hand, he grabbed the cut storage bag in his hand. And Zhu Chongshan's fist had already arrived in front of Lin Hao. The other 3 people frowned when they saw this scene. At such a distance, they thought they had no strength and could avoid this strike. Lin Haoyang's expression remained unmoved, and the soul-fixing technique brazenly played, straight into Zhu Chongshan's sea of consciousness. Zhu Chongshan's physical power was greatly enhanced, but heavenly Dao balance, his spirit, and ordinary cultivator, there is no difference. Soul-fixing technique penetrated into Zhu Chongshan's mind, instantly beating him into a state of confusion. The fist he punched out abruptly stopped in the air. Taking this opportunity, Lin Haoyang avoided the circle while urging Long Yuanjian to directly cut off the 5 fingers of Zhu Chongshan's left hand holding the storage bag, and the storage bag in his hand also fell. Lin Haoyang sucked in his hand and put the storage bag into his hand. When the things were in his hand, Lin Hao quickly withdrew. Roar. The pain of broken fingers and the anger in my heart have reached the extreme, and seeing Lin Haoyang take away the storage bag, Zhu Chongshan forcibly endures the severe pain of divine sense, regardless of the other three, rushes towards Lin Haoyang. Lin Haoyang pinned the storage bag around his waist and quickly withdrew it to the distance. However, Zhu Chongshan's speed in the runaway state was too fast, and he had reached the golden core early stage. Only in an instant, he was about to catch up with Lin Haoyang. But just as Zhu Chongshan was about to catch up with Lin Haoyang, there was a loud noise in the deep pit, and then a spirit power whirlpool appeared above the deep pit. Looking at this spirit power whirlpool, Zhu Chongshan unexpectedly stopped. Looking at Lin Haoyang, Zhu Chongshan's eyes were splitting, and he wished to tear Lin Haoyang to pieces immediately. Just now, Zhu Fuqing spoke to him and immediately returned to the deep pit. The Lingyuan Chalcedony had been born. No matter how much Zhu Chongshan hates Lin Haoyang now, he must return to the deep pit at this moment. If he does not go back, I am afraid Zhu Fuqing will immediately urge the restrictions to stay in him and kill him in Yellow Springs. Not only Zhu Chongshan, but even the still alive Black Robe Foundation building cultivator, all escaped from their opponents and rushed to the pit. Seeing that Zhu Chongshan had not caught up, Lin Haoyang gradually stopped. Looking at the spirit power whirlpool not far away, Lin Haoyang knew that the Lingyuan Chalcedony had been born. The three foundation building late-stage cultivators glanced at Lin Haoyang. They were cruel and stupid towards the pit. Lin Haoyang stole the most valuable storage bag, but no one came to chase him. Lin Haoyang was not in a hurry to go to the deep pit. The purpose of his trip was the Flintstone Mother. He had to confirm whether the Flintstone Mother was in the storage. Activate Divine Sense and begin to crack Zhu Chongshan's storage bag. Zhu Chongshan set up a lot of restrictions on the storage bag, but to Lin Haoyang, these restrictions are too simple. After a stick of incense, Lin Haoyang broke the restrictions on the storage bag. Opening the storage bag, Lin Haoyang took a look at the Mother of Fire marble inside, the size of the baby's head, which was exactly the piece that Zhu Zhongshan had shown Lin Haoyang before. Lin Haoyang was overjoyed. The mission of this trip was finally completed. Lin Haoyang put the Flintstone Mother in his own storage bag and checked it again. In the storage bag of the Chongshan building, there are only a few poor 2000 spirit stones, but there is a 4th order low-grade purple gold hammer and 2 4th order low-grade attack runes. Apart from that, there was nothing else of value, and what surprised Lin Haoyang was that there was no demon cultivator in it. Soon, Lin Haoyang understood that as the patriarch of the Zhu family, Zhu Chongshan must not have the slightest breath of demon cultivator in order to cover up the identity of demon cultivator. Therefore, Zhu Chongshan must have another storage bag, a storage bag containing demon cultivator utensils. With only 2000 spirit stones, I'm afraid this is Zhu Fuqing's handwriting. Zhu Fuqing is the one who controls the Zhu family's heritage. Therefore, Zhu Fuqing's wealth is not as profound as Lin Haoyang thought. The purple gold hammer of the lower grade of Tier 4 and 2 magic charms were sent to the own storage bag. As for Zhu Chongshan's storage bag, he discarded it in the mountains. After taking a look at the deep pit, Lin Haoyang hesitated for a while before escaping to the deep pit. It took some time to crack Zhu Chongshan's storage bag. At this moment, the spirit power vortex on the deep pit had completely disappeared, and even the strong spirit power before it had been counted. However, in the deep pit at this moment, there is already a shadow of swords and swords. Zhu Fuqing and the 3 golden core cultivators are facing each other across an altar. On the altar there is a Chalcedony-like spiritual object, and that thing is the spiritual essence of Chalcedony. The foundation building of the 2 sides stood behind the 2 sides. Zhu Chongshan faded from the state of demonization, but the expected weakness did not appear. Obviously, it should be something that was taken by Demon Cultivator, which temporarily suppressed the weakness. The 3 golden core cultivators are the 3 golden core middle stage. Together, the 3 should be able to suppress Zhu Fuqing. However, Zhu Fuqing had 3 spirit talisman floating before his death, and the rank of each spirit talisman had reached the middle rank of Tier 4. Although the demon cultivator cannot use the magical item of the ordinary cultivator, the magical item does not have so many restrictions, but the power is different. 3 Tier 4 middle grade magic talisman. This is the foundation of Zhu family. Directly let the 3 golden core cultivators throw the rat avoidance device, but Zhu Fuqing did not dare to act rashly, and was not sure to retreat in the hands of the 3. For a time, the situation fell into a stalemate. 28%. Chapter 170. The Lingyuan stone marrow was lying quietly on the altar. The 2 men and horses had already blushed, and Zhu Fuqing's face was gloomy. He had planned for this moment for decades, and even hesitated to bury the entire Zhu family, just for this piece of spiritual essence. But as the three golden core cultivators disrupted the game, he also cast a rat avoidance device and didn't dare to do it lightly. Zhu Fuqing, I didn't expect you to fall into Devil Dao, even ruining the Jew's house, really cruel, said a golden core middle stage cultivator. Zhu Fuqing grinned and said, don't talk nonsense, you come to my Zhu family, I don't know how many people from my clan have been killed, and you are just for this spiritual essence stone marrow. A bunch of raccoons, why bother to take advantage of your tongue? The faces of the three golden cores were also not good looking, as Zhu Fuqing said, they are here today for the spiritual essence chalcedony, and how many Zhu family cultivators to kill is not in their consideration. Now it was discovered that Zhu Fuqing had fallen into the devil, but it happened to be right. Even if he moved to the mountain sect to investigate it in the future, the three of them would have nothing but merit. Lin Haoyang, who was hiding in the deep pit, also disliked these three people. The Zhu family cultivator was damned, of course, but they also committed the cultivator's big crime by taking such a force. Lin Haoyang was very disgusted by it. Since you don't do it, I'll help you do it. After speaking, a magic talisman appeared in Lin Haoyang's hand, which he obtained from Zhu Chongshan's storage bag. This is a golden rebuke. Lin Haoyang hesitated, and immediately urged the magical talisman to make fun of the Lingyuan chalcedony. After being thrown out by Lin Haoyang, the golden scout talisman immediately turned into a flying sword in the air. The power of this flying sword is no less than the full blow of the flying sword in the hands of the golden core cultivator. The transformation from a magic talisman to a flying sword is only a momentary matter, and for a distance of 100 meters, it is not a momentary matter. Zhu Fuqing and the three golden cores were originally confronting each other, seeking a way to break the game, but due to the chaos of the golden scoundrels, both sides could not sit down. Because no one knows whether Lingyuan chalcedony will be destroyed under this sword, and none of them can bet on it. Zhu Fuqing threw out 3 Tier 4 middle-grade spirit talisman in that instant, while he himself raised his hand and grabbed the spirit essence stone marrow directly above the altar. Only at this moment, Zhu Fuqing was like Zhu Zhongshan. Since it was demonized, it turned into a monster of more than 10 meters. The monsters that Zhu Fuqing transformed were far more terrifying than those made by Zhu Chongshan. They not only had scales, but were also covered with barbs and teeth, without the slightest characteristics of a human race. The three golden cores also reacted at the moment Lin Haoyang threw the golden talisman. The three of them each offered a defensive magical item to block the 3 Tier 4 middle-grade charms thrown by Zhu Fuqing. But obviously, with 3 spiritual talisman restrained, the Lingyuan chalcedony will inevitably fall into Zhu Fuqing's hands. Don't keep your hands anymore, do it. As one of them yelled, a golden flying sword flew out, swelling into the wind. Seeing this flying sword, Lin Haoyang's face changed wildly, because this flying sword had reached the 5th grade low grade. Even if it was a combination of 3 people, it would be a bit difficult. Although strenuous, they were successfully sacrificed by the 3 of them, breaking through the blockade of the 3 magic talisman, and cutting off to Zhu Fuqing. Seeing the 5th order flying sword cut, Zhu Fuqing was still shocked, but he grabbed the Lingyuan chalcedony's hand and did not stop. Laugh. The magic talisman transformed by the golden scoundrel fell and directly pierced Zhu Fuqing's huge arm. Although Zhu Fuqing's physical body was already very close to Tier 5 demonic beasts, all the power contained in the golden repelling amulet was all taken over, causing Zhu Fuqing's right arm to tremble and burst open a big hole. There was no blood flowing out of the flesh and blood. Blocking the blow of the Jin scolding spirit talisman, Zhu Fuqing also came to the altar, stretched out his left hand, and grabbed the spiritual essence stone marrow in his hand. When the Lingyuan chalcedony is in hand, Zhu Fuqing's face is full of ecstasy. And the 3 golden core hate in their hearts, spurring spirit power, and cutting off to Zhu Fuqing. This sword, Zhu Fuqing, is already inevitable. For this 5th order flying sword, Zhu Fuqing didn't even have the slightest intention to resist. Standing on the top of the deep pit, he naturally saw everything clearly. At the moment Zhu Fuqing was demonized, the foundation building demon cultivator behind him also jumped up. The foundation building cultivator was faster than Zhu Fuqing, but when the 5th order flying sword came, he also came to Zhu Fuqing. Then in the shock of everyone, these foundation building demon cultivators did not care about life and death, completely blocking the 5th order flying sword. Puff, puff. The foundation building cultivator was fragile in front of the Tier 5 magical item, and time was urgent. Some people in front, even the defensive magical item, failed to sacrifice and were chopped into two. With the delay of a few people, it was worthwhile to defend magical item later, but it was useless at all. Under the 5th order flying sword, all were bubbles. In the end, even Zhu Chongshan, who was demonized again, was cut into two parts with a single sword, but he avoided the vital point, held alive, and was lingering. The reason why Zhu Chongshan and others are so crazy is that Zhu Fuqing unlocked the refinement in their bodies just now, but the price is to block this strike. That's why they are so crazy. At this moment, Zhu Chongshan has regained his freedom, and the refinement Zhu Fuqing left in his body has completely disappeared. But the power of the 5th order flying sword was far beyond his imagination, and he almost died under flying sword. With more than 20 foundation building demon cultivators forgotten life, the power of this strike of the 5th order flying sword was almost exhausted. Zhu Fuqing raised his hand and the flying sword was ejected back. As for the 3 golden cores, it may take some time to motivate flying sword again. Zhu Fuqing knew that he was not the opponent of the 3 at all. It was mainly for him to find a quiet place to break through to nascent soul with the spirit essence stone marrow, and it would be easy to clean up these guys. With a kick on his feet, Zhu Fuqing smugly shot out of the pit. But at this moment, another golden repelling talisman fell and struck his neck. This strike was extremely delicate. It was shot when Zhu Fuqing was unprepared, and directly staggered Zhu Fuqing, and his body unconsciously slammed into the surrounding walls. When Lin Haoyang saw Zhu Fuqing's premeditated plan, he had already taken out another golden scoundrel and prepared to attack Zhu Fuqing. Sure enough, Zhu Fuqing immediately wanted to escape after avoiding the first blow of the 5th order flying sword, but was hit by Lin Haoyang with a magic talisman. Roar! The rubble on the rock wall rolled, flying all over the sky, and the monster Zhu Fuqing had rushed out of the pit again. No matter what the reason, he must rush out before the 3 golden cores are relieved, otherwise it will be difficult for him to escape the disaster if the 5th order flying sword is cut again. Seeing this, the 3 golden cores forced the flying sword regardless of physical wear and tear. As for the power of the 3 charms, they were completely handed over to more than 30 foundation building cultivators, and the 3 of them also made a desperate bet. Even so, I'm afraid it will take 2 or 3 breaths to start flying again. With this time, I am afraid that the monster Zhu Fuqing transformed has already escaped. At this critical juncture, a huge purple gold hammer suddenly fell from the top of the pit and landed directly on the monster that Zhu Fuqing had transformed. Zhu Fuqing was smashed down again, but this time, Zhu Fuqing only slowed down. Just as soon as his legs landed, he jumped up brazenly. However, facing him, a flying sword covered with black spirit power was cut down with a sword, and even Zhu Fuqing could not help but be frightened. Had to fall again, avoiding this head-on sword. Hiding on the sidelines and panting, Zhu Chongshan, who wanted to find a chance to escape, was already mad, and he had recognized the golden scoundrel and the purple golden hammer a long time ago. I also knew that. It was Lin Haoyang who was hiding at the top of the pit. 29%. Chapter 171 Auto-generated chapter title. The 171st chapter suffocated to death. However, Zhu Chongshan did not want to remind Zhu Fuqing that the top of the mountain is just a foundation building kid. Zhu Fuqing let the entire Zhu family go up and down, dead clean, and he became what he is now. He was greedy to live for a while, but now it seems that it might be better to die. So he looked unexpectedly excited when he saw Zhu Fuqing planted in Lin Haoyang's hands. After being shot down 3 times in a row, Zhu Fuqing was anxious and afraid in his heart. In his opinion, the man on the top of the mountain must be the back of the 3 foundation buildings. Judging by its methods, I am afraid that it is also in the position of Golden Core, and it is difficult for Zhu Fuqing to escape from this deep pit under the favorable geographical position. Suddenly, Zhu Fuqing felt cruel and roared. I don't believe it, the magical item in your hand can't be used up. Then, the monsters that Zhu Fuqing had transformed surrounded the rock wall and rushed straight up again. Zhu Fuqing knew that this was his last chance. If he can't escape this time, I'm afraid he won't have a chance, because the 3 golden cores in the distance are about to sacrifice the 5th order flying sword again. By then, it must be his death. Lin Haoyang, who was hiding at the entrance of the cave, was also pale at the moment. He had just forcibly sacrificed the purple gold hammer, urging Long Yuan to make up the second blow, and was about to drain the spirit power in his body. And now he has no means to stop Zhu Fuqing. Seeing Zhu Fuqing rushing up again, Lin Haoyang was also ruthless, and the 8 trigrams copper plate appeared in his hands. Lin Haoyang kicked and leapt, heading down towards Zhu Fuqing. In his hands, the 8 trigrams copper plate was fully opened. This was the first time that Lin Haoyang urged the 8 trigrams copper plate with all his strength. I saw gold, wood, water, fire, and earth, and the power of 5 elements evolved one after another. 5 elements walls were formed before the 8 trigrams copper plate. The defense power of the 5 elements walls had reached the 3rd tier top grade. This is also the only method Lin Haoyang can use at present. For monsters like Zhu Fuqing, there is no magical item below tier 4, maybe even his scales cannot be broken. Therefore, for the 3rd time, Lin Haoyang did not choose to attack, but to defend. Looking at the 5 elements wall that fell from the top of the deep pit, Zhu Fuqing grinned, because he was in a state of demonization at the moment. This smile was very hideous. In an instant, Zhu Fuqing came to the wall of 5 elements. The first side was a wall of gold, just like a wall of metal. However, Zhu Fuqing lifted his hands and tore. His sharp claws directly penetrated the walls of the 4 layers of 5 elements, leaving only a wall of soil. Seeing this, Lin Haoyang couldn't help but his expression changed, but at this moment, Lin Haoyang couldn't retreat. Once he retreated, he would definitely breed an old nascent soul demon. Lin Haoyang urged the little spirit power, urged the only remaining wall of soil, and pressed it down again. Zhu Fuqing tore through the 4 defenses, and the 5th was also precarious. Because of his own demonization, he could not protect himself from the sky, and could only rely on the power of his flesh. 5 elements blocked him on all sides for a moment. Instinctively, Zhu Fuqing's claws penetrated into the wall of soil, trying to use his strength to get up. But at this moment, Lin Haoyang suddenly put away the 8 trigrams copper plate, and the wall of soil naturally disappeared. When Zhu Fuqing's body was about to fall, Lin Haoyang appeared before his eyes. Zhu Fuqing's pupils suddenly shrank, and the anger in his heart could not be suppressed, and he quickly snapped at Lin Hao's anode. Lin Haoyang, as if he had expected it long ago, urged soul concentration to fight Zhu Fuqing. Although Lin Haoyang's divine sense is very strong, but Zhu Fuqing, how is he also a master of the 9th level of Golden Core? Soul fixing technique only makes him trance for a moment. But for Lin Haoyang, as long as this moment is enough. The flying sword, who had been hiding behind Lin Haoyang for a long time, flew out and went straight to Zhu Fuqing's right eye. Lin Haoyang had known for a long time that the 8 trigrams copper plate would definitely not be able to stop Zhu Fuqing, so he had to find another way. The killing intent Zhanmang's speed was too fast, and at the same time that soul fixing hit Zhu Fuqing, the killing intent Zhanmang had already arrived in front of Zhu Fuqing. Puff! Killing intent Zhanmang pierced Zhu Fuqing's right eye and completely shattered his right pupil. Lin Haoyang guarded when he saw it, knowing that it was impossible to kill the sword light from the eyeballs into the brain. Because of the blindness of his right eye, his right vision was completely lost, and he took this opportunity to dodge Zhu Fuqing's mortal blow dangerously. The pain in his eyes and the anger in his heart made Zhu Fuqing hate Lin Haoyang to the extreme. Just when Zhu Fuqing wanted to take another shot against Lin Haoyang, the 3 golden cores finally sacrificed the 5th order flying sword again and cut to Zhu Fuqing. Feeling helpless, Zhu Fuqing had to fall to the ground again. Lin Haoyang hurriedly took out the Zunyuan sword and hovered in the air. He didn't make any more moves. At this moment, his spirit power had already seen low. Watching the tier 5 flying sword besieging Zhu Fuqing, he was relieved, pressed a mouthful of blood in his chest, quietly recalled the forbidden hammer and Longyuan sword, and took the opportunity to slip away. 3rd, Golden Core offered a 5th order flying sword again. Zhu Fuqing was already in disaster, and Lin Haoyang had no objection to staying behind. For his treasure, he has long been regarded by everyone. He is afraid that the 3 golden cores will kill people by then. After all, they are besieging Zujia town this time. The name is not proper. If you move the mountain sect to investigate, I am afraid that there will be mistakes. Therefore, Lin Haoyang slipped away quietly. Lin Haoyang can be regarded as doing his best to his benevolence. If he hadn't desperately stopped Zhu Fuqing, I am afraid he would not know where he had escaped. However, when Lin Haoyang was 10 miles away, there was a roar from behind. I hate it. Then there was a terrifying explosion, and even Lin Haoyang, who was 10 miles away, felt the violent power. Turning around, he found that the direction from which the explosion came was exactly where the deep pit was. Lin Haoyang swallowed secretly. Fortunately, he withdrew in time, otherwise, he would also be swallowed by this explosion. Needless to say, this must be that Zhu Fuqing blew himself up. Coupled with Lingyuan Chalcedony, it has such power. Regardless of whether it is a demon cultivator or a righteous cultivator, it is rare that it will explode. A little self-detonation means that even the soul will explode. In addition to the inhuman pain, it also breaks the hope of re-entering samsara. Completely vanished and disappeared in time. Zhu Fuqing blew himself up, completely thinking that Lin Haoyang was with the 3 golden cores for a while. Such a close distance, coupled with Lin Haoyang's all means, under the power of his self-destruction, Lin Haoyang must have died. But unexpectedly, Lin Haoyang was very cautious and had already withdrawn. Only then was Zhu Fuqing's roar. The aftermath of Zhu Fuqing's blew up for a long time. The 3 golden cores are guarded by the 5th order flying sword. Although they can't die, they must be seriously injured. If you go back at this time, you might be able to take the 5th order flying sword. But this thought only flashed through Lin Haoyang's mind. The 3 tier 5 magical items were obviously not themselves, but borrowed from nascent soul cultivator. Even if Lin Haoyang takes away the 5th order flying sword by chance, I am afraid that he will be chased and killed by a nascent soul cultivator. Lin Haoyang knew this very well. There was no way to hesitate, took out a top-grade spirit stones to restore the collar, and fleeing away again. This time, not only did he get the fire mica mother, but he also got a purple gold hammer by accident, which was an unexpected gain. As for the 2 golden scoundrels, Lin Haoyang felt that it was not a pity at all. Lin Haoyang felt that it was worth it to be able to trap a future nascent soul old demon to death. At the moment, within the deep pit, tier 5 flying sword stood in the corner of the wall, and the 3 golden cores fell to the ground in a weak breath. Obviously, they were all seriously injured, but they were not dead. As for the 30 or so foundation buildings, they turned into ashes in the explosion. 29%. Chapter 172 Lei Cheng. This battle can be said to be extremely tragic. In the foundation building alone, there were 40 or 50 people, 1 golden core, and 3 seriously injured golden cores. However, half of these are demon cultivators. These demon cultivators are lurking in the moving mountain sect, which is also a huge hidden danger. Lin Haoyang was not the only survivor of this fierce battle. When the guarding formation was breached, some rogue cultivators took the opportunity to escape and escaped. However, these are very few rogue cultivators who survived, but 3. After these people fled from Zujia town, they quickly moved away from Zujia town. The movement of this battle was too great. They were afraid of being held accountable by the moved mountain sect, so naturally they had to flee far away and leave the moving mountain sect's territory. Lin Haoyang naturally understood this truth. Even though he was injured, he still left Zhujiajun day and night. In this raid, within half a month, Lin Haoyang left the territory of the moving mountain sect and came to the territory of Emperor Ji. Lin Haoyang's injury was caused by Zhu Fuqing's strange power. Although he was forced to take a bite of blood, it was not serious at all. With the help of medicine pill, he had healed in the past 10 days. Although his injuries healed, Lin Haoyang didn't dare to be careless at all. The movement of the Zhu family caused an uproar in the territory of the moving mountain sect. A long-lasting, 500-year 4th-rank family has fallen into Devil Dao, and its patriarch can become a nascent soul cultivator with only 1 step away. Such a rampant evil is really unbelievable. You know, not long ago, led by Zhuo Qianji, he killed a nascent soul demon cultivator in Emperor Jizong. This time there is another quasi-demon cultivator. How can it not make people shocked? The evil is so rampant, what is the reason? The moving mountain sect established the 3 golden cores as the heroes for destroying the demon cultivator, but did not mention how they knew that the Zhu family had fallen into a demon, and how they broke into the Zhu family. Anyone with a discerning eye can see the doorway, but the world only pays attention to the appearance and does not care about the process. The news that the 3 golden cores have eliminated demon cultivator has spread among the cultivators, and their reputation has spread far and wide. After Lin Haoyang heard the news in Wangjizong's Yifeng city, he sneered. He knew exactly what the 3 golden cores did when they came to Zhujiajun. He even had the reputation of being a guardian of the devil. Really shameless. However, Lin Haoyang did not have many accidents, so he kept silent about the matter. In this way, Lin Haoyang returned to the Lin family's White Elephant Mountain again in 3 or 4 months. It was only a year and a half for Lin Haoyang to leave, and everyone in the Lin family was quite worried, but when he heard that Lin Haoyang had successfully obtained the fire mica, Lin Qianlong and others were also very happy. After becoming the mother-child soul chaser Thunder, the foundation building cultivator of the Lin family, his own safety is finally guaranteed. In this year and a half, the news of the Sword League assembling high-ranked cultivator has also spread, and all families and sects have begun to make preparations. I am afraid that within 5 years, the wasteland reclamation season will begin. The Lin family had previously obtained a large number of resources from UNNJ. The most basic resources were enough, and the spirit rice was also very sufficient. After Lin Haoyang became a mother-child soul-chasing thunder, the Lin family's preparations were quite complete. The earth fire room of the Lin family is only tier 3, which is not enough for Lin Haoyang to refine the mother-child soul-chasing thunder. Therefore, Lin Haoyang took the fire marble mother and rushed to Qingyunzong non-stop. Lin Xuancheng is now a tier 3 low-grade puppet master, but to refine tier 3 puppets requires soul crystals. The Lin family managed to get 6 or 6 yuan. After being trained into 5, Dongzong replaced 3, and the Lin family kept 2 of them. This time, he exchanged 5 soul crystals from Dong sect, and Lin Xuancheng began to refine the puppets again. As for the magical item needed by the Lin family foundation building, it is basically made by Lin Xuancheng, which also makes Lin Xuancheng's refining technique reach the 3rd tier mid-range. Therefore, although Lin Haoyang is the strongest refiner of the Lin family, he does not need to stay in the clan for a long time. Soon, Lin Haoyang rushed to Qingyunzong. When Lin Haoyang rushed to Qingyun sect was also actively preparing for the battle, and the use of the earth fire room was also very nervous. Lin Haoyang and Bai Qingyun discussed, and finally found Zhou Zunyuan, which cleared the relationship and rented a tier 4 earth fire room. As for what he wanted to refine, Lin Haoyang kept silent. Zhou Zunyuan took good care of Lin Haoyang. In Qingyun sect, Zhou Zunyuan was listed as a pro-Lin faction. It is true that the power of the Lin family has grown too fast. The Golden Core and the Lin Family Alliance have 2 Golden Cores, and there are close to 20 people in the foundation building. With such a strength, the Azure Cloud sect did not dare to provoke it easily, but fortunately, the relationship between the Lin family and the Azure Cloud sect was quite good, and it was considered Zuo Qianji's vision. After half a year, Lin Haoyang finally came out of the earth fire room. This time the refinement lasted for half a year. Even if Lin Haoyang said tier 4 refiner, such a high-strength refiner was still very difficult. Lin Haoyang patted the storage bag around his waist, a smile appeared on his face, and then he drove away and went straight to Zufeng Mountain. When Lin Haoyang arrived at Zufeng Mountain, he found that Zhou Zunyuan was also here. Lin Haoyang frowned, thinking that something had happened to the 2 daughters, Bai Qingyun and Lin Xuanlin, and immediately hurried to Zufeng Mountain. Zhou Zunyuan, who was originally guarding outside Zufeng Mountain, saw Lin Haoyang rushing in such a hurry. With a smile on his face, he hurriedly stopped Lin Haoyang and said, "Lin Xiao, you don't have to worry. Qingyun suddenly had an epiphany a month ago, and felt confident that she could break through the 4th order pill refining division, and know that you are in the closed-door training refining machine, so you can't bother. So he sent me a sound transmission note and asked me to help him protect the law. Let it break through with peace of mind." Quote. Listening to this, Lin Haoyang's heart is set. Bai Qingyun's pill refining practice has been practiced for a long time, and the Qingyunzong and the Bai family have fully supported them, and the background is extremely deep. This time, the breakthrough 4th order pill refining teacher, Bai Qingyun, invited Zhou Zunyuan to take care of her, and she naturally had full confidence. Therefore, Lin Haoyang also sat cross-legged, silently protecting Bai Qingyun's dharma. "Xiao Yu Lin, I heard that in order to find the material for refining, you went to the mountain sect this time, but I don't know, what kind of treasure did you refining after a lot of effort?" Zhou Zunyuan asked. Listening to this, Lin Haoyang's heart moved. Zhou Zunyuan knew that he was going to move to the territory of the mountain sect. I'm afraid he learned the news from Hu Weiwei. Lin Haoyang did not continue to be hypocritical, and immediately took out a mother-child soul-chasing thunder, and said, "Mother-child soul-chasing thunder, 1 large and 1 small or a set. The cast is to urge the sub-thunder to sacrifice, and the effect is similar to that of the pyroblast bomb, but the power can be 70% to 80% of the 4th order low-grade magic talisman." Zhou Zunyuan took the mother-child soul-chasing thunder, with a different color flashing in his eyes, and it was quite good to be able to have 70% to 80% of the power of a 4th order low-grade magic talisman. There is not much that can be done in one-time magical item. Then, Zhou Zunyuan tried to inject spirit power into the mother-child soul-chasing thunder. The spirit power input by Zhou Zunyuan has just reached the early stage of the foundation building, and mother-child soul chaser has a reaction. Zhou Zunyuan's eyes lit up, his face showed a different color, and he said, Sure enough, it is a good thing. It seems that the foundation building early stage cultivator can be fully activated. If it can be refined in a large amount, it can be of great use in wild wars. Hearing this, Lin Haoyang smiled bitterly and said, "In order to find this flintstone mother, I have exhausted all my energy. If I want to refine it on a large scale, I am afraid I need a flint mother mine." After hearing this, Zhou Zunyuan also showed a hint of helplessness on her face. She also knew a little about the difficulty of finding the flaming mother, so she had to let it go. He reluctantly returned the mother-child soul-chasing thunder to Lin Haoyang, and started chatting with Lin Haoyang. 29%. Chapter 173 Double Happiness. Lin Haoyang and Zhou Zunyuan had a chat, and they were very comfortable. During this period, Lin Xuanlin returned from outside. Lin Xuanlin was helping a foundation-building cultivator transplant the Lingzi. In order to ensure the survival of the Lingzi, she stayed in the medicine garden of the foundation-building cultivator for a month. Lin Xuanlin returned only after Lingzi successfully survived. After so many years, Lin Xuanlin has also become a Tier 3 high-grade Lin Zhifu, not far from Tier 4 Lingjifu. Not long after Lin Xuanlin came back, there was a movement on Zufeng Mountain. Then, there was a dark cloud on the main peak mountain, and thunder and lightning thundered in the dark cloud. Seeing this, Lin Haoyang's heart moved. Medicine pill, starting from Tier 4, would have to undergo the baptism of thunder to become a pill. The thunder tribulation experienced by medicine pill is called Dan Thunder. Dan Thunder has the law of heaven and earth, which can remove some erysipelas in medicine pill and improve the purity of medicine pill. Therefore, the appearance of Dan Lei is not entirely a bad thing. The scale of Tier 4 Dan Lei is not very large, but it just covers Zufeng Mountain, and those who can see it are also some cultivators living on the nearby spiritual veins. As soon as Dan Lei appeared, Lin Haoyang and the three people no longer hovered in the air, but evacuated from Zufeng Mountain, so as not to disturb Bai Qingyan against the thunder. Soon, many white Dan Lei fell, and each Dan Lei was about the thickness of the arm. There are 9 pills in total, and one is even more than one. When the cultivator gives birth to a baby, it must also overcome the thunder tribulation, and the thunder tribulation when the baby is born is 7 or 79, and it is not an ordinary thunder. Only after the baptism of the thunder tribulation, the cultivator can form a nascent soul. Over the years, Bai Qingyan has become the late stage of the 7th floor of the foundation building, which is only one step away from the 8th floor of the foundation building. In addition, Bai Qingyan is a different spiritual roots cultivator, and she is also extremely buffin in her magical item. It is fairly easy to deal with Tier 4 low-grade Dan Thunder. After half an hour, the thunder cloud dissipated, and a burst of medicine scent of medicine pill came from Zufeng Mountain. Asked about this medicinal fragrance, Lin Haoyang was overjoyed, and Lei Guoxiang came out, which means that medicine pill has been successfully trained. Immediately, Lin Haoyang and the three flew towards Zufeng Mountain. When Lin Haoyang came to the pill refining room, Bai Qingyan had already come out of the pill refining room, her face full of joy, holding a white jade pill bottle in her hand. Since medicine pill had just been refined, and there was still a fragrance wafting out, Lin Haoyang knew that the medicine pill was hidden inside. Lin Haoyang walked over, gently hugged Bai Qingyan, then looked at the Bai Yuden bottle, and said, "Qingyun, how?" With a smile on Bai Qingyan's face, she didn't speak. She uncovered the bottle of Bai Yuden bottle, and a round medicine pill rolled out of it. The egg size of this medicine pill is much larger than the average medicine pill. The strong medicinal fragrance before is uploaded from this medicine pill. Lin Haoyang had never seen this medicine pill and didn't know its efficacy, but Zhou Zunyuan knew that the prescription of this medicine pill came from Qingyunzong. Qingpao pill. The whole circle of medicine does not disperse, and the purity has reached 70%. Although the rate of pill formation is only 1, it is extremely difficult. Zhou Zunyuan said. Hearing Zhou Zunyuan's words, Lin Haoyang just remembered that the Qingpu pill was created by a Tier 4 top-grade pharmacist 200 years ago in the Azure Cloud sect, and it has the medicinal effect of restoring the soul. 1 pot of pill, at most 3 pill, but the efficacy is very good, compared with some of the 4th-tier middle-grade medicine pill to restore the soul of medicine, not much better. Unexpectedly, the first time Bai Qingyan refined Tier 4 medicine pill, he chose such a difficult medicine pill refining. Thinking about it now, Lin Haoyang still sweated secretly for Bai Qingyan. If it fails, I don't know how long it will take to have the next breakthrough opportunity. Even Zhou Zunyuan doesn't know that Bai Qingyan, as the breakthrough 4th order pill refining teacher, chose this medicine pill. Facing the shock of everyone, Bai Qingyan just smiled, reinstalled the Qingpudin, and then stuffed the medicine pill into Lin Haoyang's hands, saying, I know, every time you use your cultivation technique, the soul is more or less damaged. I can't stay with you, but I can refine the medicine pill for you, so that you can't die if you want to die. After listening, Lin Haoyang shook Bai Yuden's hand. Unexpectedly, Bai Qingyan chose the Qingpudin Breakthrough Fourth Order Pill Refining Division for him. For a while, Lin Haoyang's heart warmed, and he didn't say anything anymore, but just pulled Bai Qingyan into his arms. Zhou Zunyuan glanced aside and said, Oh, since it's okay, I'm leaving now, your young couple have a good chat. After speaking, Zhou Zunyuan turned into a ray of light and left. But there was still one person in the same place. Lin Xuanlin looked at Lin Haoyang and saw Bai Qingyan embracing her in her arms, with mixed flavors in her heart. Talk to you, I'll go to the Ling Tian Zhang to see. After finishing speaking, ignoring Lin Haoyang and the two, left directly. Lin Haoyang wanted to call Lin Xuanlin, but he didn't know how to speak. If he didn't have the slightest affection for Lin Xuanlin, Lin Haoyang couldn't believe it. Bai Qingyan looked at Lin Xuanlin who was going away, and her heart was also a bit sad. She had talked with Lin Xuanlin secretly, but there was no result. Lin Haoyang and Bai Qingyan had already formed a Dao companion, so Lin Haoyang would be with Lin Xuanlin again. So what is Lin Xuanlin? Is he a concubine? I don't know if Lin Xuanlin has resistance in her heart. I am afraid that even Lin Haoyang will not agree. Therefore, this matter has been delayed. Lin Haoyang sighed and stopped thinking about this matter. The so-called car must have a way to the mountain, and I will talk about it in the future. Afterwards, Lin Haoyang lived on Zufeng Mountain for half a month, just when Lin Haoyang was about to leave. The arrival of a piece of news shocked the entire Qingyan sect. Su Qin, who was stationed in the Blue Cloud sect at the Chongshan Tower, successfully gave birth 10 days ago, and after numerous setbacks, he finally formed nascent soul. At this time, Lin Haoyang remembered that when he was in Pingyang City, Su Ling'er was no longer in Pingyang City. I am afraid that this matter was related to Su Qin's nodding of infants. Su Qin Jiying was not in Qingyan sect, but returned to the Chongshan Tower. For Su Qin, only the Chongshan Tower is the safest. The wasteland reclamation season will begin soon, and Su Qin's ability to give birth to babies is great news for Qingyunzong. Now there are 3 Tier 5 demonic beasts on the border of the Azure Cloud sect. When the wasteland reclamation season begins, I don't know how many Tier 5 demonic beasts and 1 more nascent soul cultivator will be faced, so the Azure Cloud sect will have more assurance. Of course, after the wasteland reclamation season begins, Chongshan Tower will send other nascent soul cultivators to come, but the Qingyunzong believes most in Su Qin. After all, Su Qin has been in Qingyunzong for quite a long time, and he knows better about it. This news made Lin Haoyang sure in his heart. For Lin Haoyang, Su Qin's golden core is not about the wasteland reclamation season, but for Su Ling'er. With the nascent soul cultivator behind, Su Ling'er can also be counted on. With this news, Lin Haoyang returned to the Lin family. After returning to the Lin family, Lin Haoyang exchanged the mother-child soul-chasing thunder into the family treasury. In this refining, Lin Haoyang has trained a total of 9 mother-child soul-chasing thunders, which is equivalent to 9 life-saving opportunities. Mother-child soul-chasing thunder can be regarded as the Lin family background. For a mother-child soul-chasing thunder, it is equivalent to how many family worship points. It hurt Lin Haoyang's brains. This time the Flintstone mother did not have the spirit stones of Lin Haoyang, but Lin Haoyang was still included. Finally, after discussing with Lin Qianlong, a mother-child soul-chasing thunder is equivalent to 4,000 spirit stones, which is 4,000 contribution points. 29%. Chapter 174. The 9 mother-child soul-chasing thunders directly increased Lin Haoyang's family contribution points by 36,000 points, making everyone in the Lin family jealous. But everyone knows where Lin Haoyang's contribution points come from. There is only envy, but not the slightest jealousy. The news of mother-child soul-chasing thunder soon spread, and the foundation buildings in the Lin family were all eager to try and exchange for one. But the price of 4,000 spirit stones makes it difficult for them to get a deal. After all, their golden core also mostly relies on the support of the clan. They had already owed a large sum of spirit stones to the clan, and coupled with the expenses after becoming the foundation building, they had no spare money at all to buy the mother-child soul chaser. In the end, only Lin Xuancheng and Lin Xuanjia had succeeded in the exchange. Lin Xuancheng is a Tier 3 middle-grade refiner. Many Tier 3 magical items in the family are from him, and his foundation building is also supported by Lin Haoyang, so he didn't spend any savings at all. As for the purchase of magical item, he has no difficulty, as long as some materials are available. So it's not a big deal to take out 4,000 spirit stones. As for Lin Xuanjia, it is the first batch of foundation buildings in the Lin family. The external debt has long been paid off. In addition, the formation master who is already the top 3rd tier top grade, even the Qingyunzong has been asking him to arrange the formation for a long time. In terms of income, it is not low, and it is still possible to take out 4,000 spirit stones. In addition to these two people, the other foundation building cultivators of the Lin family want to exchange for the mother-child soul chaser, and I am afraid they need to raise some money. 2 months later, Chu Mengyao came and exchanged 2 mother-child soul-chasing thunder from the family treasury, apparently one with Lin Xuanjing. Lin Xuanjing was still in Tianhefang City and couldn't get away, so she asked Chu Mengyao to purchase. Chu Mengyao is still quite prestigious in the Lin family. Even if it is not from the Lin family, Lin Qianlong still allows him to redeem 2 mother-child soul-chasing thunder. Lin Xuanjing and Chu Mengyao have been in charge of the Lin family merchants for many years. If they don't have any spirit stones in their hands, I'm afraid no one will believe them. 3 months later, Lin Xuanyu gathered enough spirit stones and redeemed the 5th mother-child soul-chasing thunder, directly letting the Lin family's reserves go by more than half. In the 4th month, Lin Xiaowen begged Lin Haoyang, crying sadly, borrowed 4,000 spirit stones from Lin Haoyang and exchanged it for a mother-child soul-chasing thunder. Today, there are only 3 of them left in the Lin family. Mother-child soul-chasing thunders are getting less and less, and Lin Xuanlu and Lin Shufeng have not been able to get enough spirit stones, so they are very anxious. The foundation building of Lin Xuanlu and Lin Shufeng was originally supported by the family. In addition, the foundation building has a short period of time, and there are no spirit stones in it. These 4,000 spirit stones, even if they pieced together, are far from enough. Fortunately, the family's foundation building has basically been redeemed, and there are 3 remaining, so there is enough time for them to raise spirit stones. But one thing happened that made them feel very anxious, and they went to Lin Haoyang directly after they discussed it. Originally speaking, this mother-child soul-chasing thunder only allowed Lin Haoyang to redeem it to the family at the price of 4,000 spirit stones. Lin Haoyang had already suffered, and the 2 were embarrassed to look for Lin Haoyang again, but there was nothing they could do about it. Just this morning, the rogue cultivators recruited by the Lin family were a son-in-law, and 2 of them begged to come. These 2 people were married to the Lin family disciples and joined the Lin family. Originally, the 2 of them didn't really hope to be able to exchange for mother-child soul-chasing thunder at the Lin family, but Chu Mengyao's successful exchange made them both thoughts. So the 2 borrowed spirit stones everywhere, and finally raised enough spirit stones yesterday. Early this morning, they brought their family members and found Lin Qianlong, wanting to exchange for a mother-child soul-chasing thunder. When Lin Haoyang heard this, a hint of joy appeared between his eyebrows. He did not hide the news of the mother-child soul-chasing thunder. He had planned for a long time, just to publicize the strength and foundation of the Lin family. Let more rogue cultivators be willing to integrate into the Lin family, thereby expanding the scale of the Lin family. Prior to this, the Lin family employed 6 or 7 foundation building rogue cultivators, and 30 or 40 rogue cultivators. But for those who really entered the Lin family, there are only 2 people in the foundation building, and only 2 or 9 people in the Ningmei. These 11 people can be considered as a complete integration into the Lin family. Lin Haoyang's immortal cave was in the back mountain, and it was only a stick of incense to reach the meeting hall. When Lin Haoyang arrived, Lin Ganlong and others had already arrived. Standing under the hall, it was Du Gucheng and Wan Baofeng who came to ask for the mother-child soul chaser this time. Du Gucheng is a cultivator on the 7th floor of the foundation building. It does not have a Dao companion, but it is hired by the Lin family to help guard the food road. During the period, I met Lin Xuanjia's daughter, Lin Shutting. Lin Shutting was under Lin Xuanjia's care. She was already a cultivation base on the 9th floor of the veins, but the Lin family no longer had a foundation building dan, which was delayed. Although Du Gucheng and Lin Shutting are quite different from cultivation base, their relationship is very strange. Du Gucheng was originally a widow in the lonely family. It was because of the good treatment of the Lin family that he was hired by the Lin family. In addition, with Lin Xuanjia's father-in-law who was about to rise to the 4th order formation master, he agreed to join the Lin family without hesitation. Wan Baofeng is similar, except that his wife, Lin Haoqin, does not have a strong backing in the Lin family, but she has a good talent and is a second spiritual roots cultivator. At the age of 25, he has already stepped into the 8th floor of Ningmei. Among the younger generation of the Lin family, they are considered to be the best, and there is a great opportunity for foundation building in the future. Wan Baofeng and Lin Haoqin have no children yet, but Du Gucheng and Lin Shuding already have a 3-year-old daughter. The 3-year-old child is pink and lovely. His name is Lin Haoyu. When he enters the Lin family, his child must be born with the surname Lin. A group of 5 people stood in front of the hall, each with a trace of expectation on their faces. Mother-child chasing thunder is related to the safety of their husbands, and the 2 women naturally have to fight hard. Lin Haoyang entered the chamber, attracting people's attention. Whether the mother-child soul chasing thunder will be paid to the 2 of them, I am afraid Lin Haoyang still needs to nod. Brother Haoyang, since my husband has already joined the Lin family, he is naturally a member of the Lin family. Over the years, he has been taking care of the food for the family, and he has done much. This time I redeem the mother-child soul chaser thunder, Meng Yao's sister has redeemed it. My husband came today and wanted to redeem one too. As soon as Lin Haoyang entered the hall, Lin Haoqin said. Lin Haoqin was a few years younger than Lin Haoyang, and the 2 of them played together when they were young. Lin Haoyang remembered that at that time, Haoqin was just a baby doll, running behind a group of older children. Since Lin Haoyang went to Lian Valley, the 2 have rarely seen each other. Yeah, Haoyang, you just don't look at the faces of our couple, look at this child, her surname is Lin. Lin Shuding said. The 2 girls are both good players in middle school, and they talked about the point as soon as they said it, which made it difficult for Lin Haoyang to refuse. Lin Xuanlu and Lin Shufeng, who followed Lin Haoyang, naturally frowned, with a bad premonition. Okay, you 2 don't need to be like this, presumably the patriarch has already made a decision. When I come, it's just a testimony. Lin Haoyang smiled. When Lin Xuanlu and Lin Shufeng heard this, they knew the result of the incident, and they hated why they couldn't make up enough spirit stones sooner. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, Haoyang is right. For this matter, I have already made a decision in my heart. The 2 mother-child soul-chasing thunders you requested can be redeemed for you. But there is a condition. Lin Ganlong said. 29%. Chapter 175. As soon as Lin Qianlong said this, it was like a final word. The 2 mother-child soul-chasing thunders were probably going to be in the pockets of the 2 of them. Lin Xuanlu and Lin Shufeng glanced at each other, and both nodded secretly, as if they had reached an agreement. When Du Gucheng and Wan Baofeng heard this, they were overjoyed and said. What conditions does the patriarch have? Just say it. Lin Qianlong smiled, waved his hand, and said. Mother-child soul-chasing thunder is the heritage of my Lin family. With mother-child soul-chasing thunder, it is equivalent to 1 more life. You exchange the mother-child soul-chasing thunder, that is, if you take the Lin family's heritage, you must make a soul oath that you will not betray the Lin family in the future, and treat the Lin family like your own family. But at the same time, the Lin family will not treat you differently. What do you think? Quote. Lin Haoyang looked at the 2 with a smile. As long as the 2 of them made a soul oath, even if they were completely integrated into the Lin family, they would have no 2 minds. Originally Du Guchen was still a little hesitant, but Lin Shuding squeezed his waist and barked his teeth in pain, and hurriedly begged for mercy. Okay, daughter-in-law, I beg for mercy, I just signed the soul oath. Du Gucheng begged. Don't you dare to agree. You must go back to see you. Lin Shuding said. When everyone saw this, they all laughed. Seeing everyone like this, Lin Shufeng realized that he was a bit pungent, and hurriedly hid behind Du Gucheng. Wan Baofeng didn't refuse, signing the soul oath. For them, it was just a form to restrain them. When they married the Lin family's girl, they were already in the Lin family. Soon, Du Gucheng and Wan Baofeng signed a soul oath. Lin Qianlong didn't say anything wrong, and he was about to exchange 2 mother-child soul-chasing thunders for them. In this way, only 1 of the 9 mother-child soul-chasing thunders remained. At this moment, Lin Xuanlu and Lin Shufeng, who had been silent for a long time, finally spoke. Patriarch, the contributions of Shufeng and I are not enough to redeem a mother-child soul-chaser thunder, so the 2 of me transferred the contribution points to 1 person, which is enough for 4,000 contribution points. I would like to ask the ancestors to redeem a mother-child. Chasing the soul thunder, Lin Xuanlu said. Lin Qianlong smiled on his face. It seems that the introduction of rogue cultivators has put enough pressure on the Lin family, and even foundation building cultivators have begun to cooperate. This is a good thing. The family cultivator has been too smooth these years, and the family cultivator is a bit vain. Introducing foreigners to compete together can make the Lin family cultivator grow faster. Therefore, Lin Qianlong exchanged the last mother-child soul-chasing thunder to Lin Xuanlu and Lin Shufang. As for how the two will be distributed when the time comes, don't worry about everyone. The three mother-child soul-chasing thunders have belonged, and this zero-hour meeting has also ended, and everyone has left one after another. However, Lin Qianlong left Lin Haoyang, and it seemed that he still had important tasks to be entrusted to Lin Haoyang. After everyone left, Lin Haoyang followed Lin Qianlong to his bamboo building. The bamboo building has been in the past for decades, and it has remained the same as before. Haoyang, last time you bought a batch of resources from Yuananjai, the family land reclamation season is basically enough. However, we still need a batch of resources. This batch of resources will be used to protect the family's potential and extremely qualified cultivator. For this matter, I am afraid that you still need to go to Pingyang village to find Chongshan Tower. Lin Ganlong said. Hearing this, Lin Haoyang was shocked. Lin Haoyang had never thought about this matter. I thought that Lin Qianlong would have given him the protector of the way because Lin Haoyang was able to escape the crisis several times. Had it not been for that 4th-tier mid-rank Sky Thunder talisman, Lin Haoyang would have died a few times. Patriarch, I agree with this matter. I will buy half of the spirit stones of mutual Taoism. Lin Haoyang said. Lin Haoyang knew that the things of mutual Tao were bestowed by the Patriarch, and now that the Lin family is big, the Patriarch alone might not be enough to support such a consumption. Oh, I called you here, just for this matter. You look at this list. After speaking, Lin Qianlong took out a list and handed it to Lin Haoyang. Lin Haoyang took the list, took a closer look, and raised his eyebrows. On this list, there are a total of 13 Lin family cultivators, and Lin Xiaowen ranks first. Lin Xiaowengong Foundation building has insufficient experience, and experience in fighting demonic beasts is also extremely lacking. If it is not given to protect the way, I am afraid it will be very dangerous. Like Lin Xiaowen, there are 12 people, but these people are just cultivation base, but basically, they are all 2 spiritual roots cultivators with excellent cultivating qualifications. Lin Haokin, who is in the reception hall today, is also on the list. There are a total of 13 people here. Xiaowen has a mother-child soul-chasing thunder, so she will give her another tier 4 low-grade magic talisman. For the other 12 cultivators, no one will have a tier 3 high-grade magic talisman. Although the cultivator is very difficult to mobilize the 3rd order high-grade magic talisman, only the 3rd order high-grade magic talisman can have enough grasp to protect them. Tier 3 high-grade spirit talisman, I am afraid that one cost 2,500 spirit stones, tier 4 low-grade spirit talisman, one cost 5,000 spirit stones. Counting this down, it will cost 35,000 spirit stones. Although I have some savings over the years, it is not enough to pay for so many spirit stones. Lin Ganlong said. Hearing this number, Lin Haoyang frowned. 35,000 spirit stones were indeed a large number. Even for him, it was difficult to come up with it. No wonder Lin Qianlong would consult with him. The Patriarch, why don't you have a part of the family treasury? How about the two of me sharing some more? Lin Haoyang said. Lin Qianlong looked dark and said. That's the only thing. Take 15,000 spirit stones from the clan, you and I give 10,000 spirit stones. How do you think, Haoyang? Lin Haoyang nodded. He still took out 10,000 spirit stones. This time he made a lot of money in Zujia town. Okay, Patriarch, I'm going to Pingyang City. Lin Haoyang said. Lin Haoyang just wanted to leave, but was called by Lin Qianlong. It turned out that Lin Qianlong had not had a suitable tier 4 defense magical item. Ask Lin Haoyang to go to Pingyang City this time and help him choose materials and refine a defensive magical item. Listening to this, Lin Haoyang's heart moved. Bai Zonkang also just started the foundation building. I am afraid there is no tier 4 magical item that works together. The Bai family is no better than the Lin family. Bai Zonkang is the first golden core cultivator, and there is no extra tier 4 magical item in the family. Therefore, Lin Haoyang wanted to help Bai Zonkang also refine a tier 4 magical item. After discussing the mutual items, Lin Haoyang took the 35,000 spirit stones approved by Lin Qianlong to Pingyang City. Of course, 10,000 spirit stones were deducted from Lin Haoyang's contribution points. After half a month, Lin Haoyang rushed to Binduang City. Compared with the past, Binduang City has become more prosperous, and the number of cultivators has almost doubled. As the wasteland reclamation season is approaching, the cultivator of Zhongshan Tower has gradually rushed over. Now the one who sits in Zhongshan Tower is already a nascent soul cultivator. Lin Haoyang also knew this nascent soul cultivator, and he was Zheng Jicheng who went to Snake Mist Valley. Looking at the changes in Pingyang City, Lin Haoyang was worried, but when he came to the Zillow, the owner here was still Xian. Lin Haoyang felt relieved when he saw Xian. At the same time, Su Ling'er was also in the purple building. 29%. Chapter 176 Goodbye Zheng Jicheng. Lin Haoyang came to Pingyang City this time and saw the personnel changes in Pingyang City. Lin Haoyang was originally worried that the two golden cores, Xian and Su Ling'er, would be excluded, but it seems that the situation has not yet reached the worst point. Inside the purple building, Lin Haoyang looked at Ziyan with a bitter expression and asked, Xian, fellow Taoist, is this Zheng Zhenren here to seize power? Hearing this, purple smoke rode. Princess Zheng is good to me. This time, if Majesty Zheng is sent over by the Zhongshan Tower, it is still considered for me to consider. If we change to other nascent soul real men, our life will probably be even more difficult. Ziyan is not worried about this, but the time is tight. She is quite worried about the baby-bearing matter, and this is the sorrow. Su Ling'er said aside. Lin Haoyang realized that Xian was already Golden Core's 9th layer cultivation base, and he was ready to give birth. Moreover, after his early visit to the Snake Mist Valley, Xian even obtained a pill of nurturing for himself, so there is no shortage of Xian, a spiritual thing to help with the formation of babies. The lack of time for Xian is probably only a few years before the start of the wasteland reclamation season. To Golden Core in such a short period of time, the time is too hasty. The cultivator takes a long time to get a baby. It can be as short as 1 year, or as long as 2 or 3 years. Su Qin's second layer tried to get a baby and it took 1.5 years. Xian was the first time to get a baby. I am afraid it will take longer. Xian was not sure that he could break through in a short time, so this was so sad. In addition, if Xian is not there during the wasteland reclamation season, I am afraid that some of the benefits will not be shared with him. Lin Haoyang smiled bitterly after listening. What kind of thing is this? Someone is worried about when the baby is born. Xian, fellow Taoist, I wonder if you can listen to me. Lin Haoyang fell. Lin, fellow Taoist said. A strange color flashed across Ziyan's face, and finally Lin Haoyang said. Xian, fellow Taoist, although I don't know what the birth of a baby is going to experience, but I feel that the most indispensable thing when the wasteland reclamation season begins, is chance. Even if the birthing failed this time, the Su Qin fellow Taoist has already given birth. With him being helped by the back, it is not difficult for you to get another Tier 5 demonic beast's inner pill for the Su fellow Taoist in the future. As for the sharing of benefits you mentioned, it was nothing more than a loss at the beginning. But the resources that Golden Core and Nascent Soul can obtain are like worlds apart. I think you don't have to worry about this. Quote. Lin Haoyang slowly said the thoughts in his heart, and Ziyan's eyes flashed after hearing it. As the saying goes, the authorities are fascinated, and the bystanders are clear. Ziyan is blinded by the horror in front of him and fails to understand the pros and cons. Su Ling'er is also concerned, but fails to understand the pros and cons. Now that Lin Haoyang wakes up with a word, the two women are naturally no longer worried. Lin, fellow Taoist, coming to Pingyang City this time, won't you just come to reminisce about the past with me? Ziyan said. After clearing the doubts in his heart, Ziyan returned to his previous shrewdness and wit. Lin Haoyang smiled, gave Ziyan a thumbs up, and said with a smile. That shrewd Ziyan fellow Taoist is back. After some jokes, Lin Haoyang talked about the purpose of coming to Pingyang City. 13 magic charms were not a small number. After listening, Ziyan and Su Ling'er both opened their mouths slightly, obviously a little surprised at Lin Haoyang's appetite. Lin, fellow Taoist, didn't you Lin family just bought a batch of resources from Yuananjai? And, didn't you train a batch of mother-child soul-chasing thunder before, which is extremely powerful? Why buy these charms? Your Lin family is really rich. Su Ling'er said. Ziyan didn't speak aside, only the corners of his mouth were slightly cocked. Lin Haoyang is also a person who is good at observing words and colors. Seeing Ziyan's expression like this, I am afraid she has already guessed it. Since the Xian fellow Taoist has guessed it, can you give me a discount based on our friendship? Lin Haoyang said. Su Ling'er looked surprised. The two people didn't know what to say, they were all weird words, and they didn't speak thoroughly, which made people guess. Lin, fellow Taoist, now Pingyang City is no longer in charge. If it is a small amount, I can naturally provide you with accommodation, but the transaction of 30,000 or 40,000 spirit stones must be reviewed by Zhenjiang. Ziyan said. Lin Haoyang nodded. Since Zheng Jicheng has taken over Pingyang City, Lin Haoyang will naturally not go beyond the rules. Just do everything according to the rules. Lin Haoyang said. Ziyan nodded, got up and took Lin Haoyang to see Zheng Jicheng. Su Ling'er sat in the same place with a look of confusion. She really couldn't understand these two people more and more. But Su Ling'er was not too entangled. Her grandfather and Zheng Jicheng had a good relationship, and now his brother Su Qin has stepped into the realm of nascent soul. Whether it is status or incense, Zheng Jicheng will help. Soon, Lin Haoyang followed Ziyan to a hidden place in Pingyang City. Lin Haoyang had not been here before. Lin Haoyang originally thought that the most secret place in Pingyang City was probably the teleportation array, but unexpectedly, this place was even more mysterious than the place where the teleportation array was located. Chongshan Tower advocates black, and this secret place is a palace with black walls and tiles. As for the cultivator here, Lin Haoyang has never seen one, and doesn't know any of them. Presumably, these cultivators have just been transferred from the Chongshan Tower. In the end, Lin Haoyang was taken into a black great hall. Lin, fellow Taoist, this is Zheng Zhenren's residence, wait a moment, Zheng Zhen will come. Ziyan said. Lin Haoyang nodded, not in a hurry, he knew that if there were no accidents, there should be no problem. After waiting for half a stick of incense, a person walked out from behind the great hall. Although his whole body was condensed and not showing off, Lin Haoyang knew that if this person wanted to kill him, he could do it easily. The visitor was Zheng Jicheng. Compared with the time when he met in Snake Mist Valley, Zheng Jicheng looked much older, with gray hair and old attitude. Since the news of Zheng Shaoxi's fall in the Shuyang Mountain trial, Zheng Jicheng's heart has been saddened, his appearance has changed drastically, and his heart has been weakened. Zheng Shaoxi, as his granddaughter, inherited Zheng Jicheng's legacy. They are all different spiritual roots with wind attributes, which is really rare. Li's training for many years has made him feel deeply for Zheng Shaoxi. Unexpectedly, Zheng Shaoxi died in the hands of the cultivator of Baixianmen in the third pass. When Zheng Jicheng came to Pingyang City this time, he also took the initiative to invite Ying, just to touch the brow of Baixianmen and make it difficult for him to be happy. Zheng Jicheng came to the front of the hall and saw Lin Haoyang with a serious face, and said, Xiaoyu Lin, this is the second time you and I have met, so you don't have to be so restrained. Lin Haoyang raised his head and said yes, but he was still respectful. Lin Haoyang was actually not afraid. Lin Haoyang had seen the Daojing Daneng before, so naturally he was not afraid of Zheng Jicheng. He put his attitude so low and really told Zheng Jicheng that the Lin family would not be an enemy at Chongshan Tower, nor would he hinder what Zheng Jicheng wanted to do. I heard that you are going to buy a large number of magic charms. This kind of rank and number, I can naturally bring it out. But, I have one condition. As long as you promise me this condition, I can still give you a 30% discount. 30%. Chapter 177 Legacy Inheritance. Lin Haoyang grinned bitterly. He didn't expect that Zheng Jicheng would make a request to him. A nascent soul cultivator would make a request to the foundation building cultivator. Is he too dear to him? Moreover, Lin Haoyang felt very familiar with this scene. Not long ago, Lin Ganlong just made conditions for Du Gucheng and Wan Baofeng. Lin Haoyang is puzzled. Once cultivation base has achieved something, he likes to impose conditions on low-level cultivators. Why? I don't like to make conditions. Zheng Jicheng saw Lin Haoyang distracted for a while, thinking that he was thinking differently. Ziyan added that Lin Haoyang looked wrong, raised his hand and stabbed Lin Haoyang. Lin Haoyang hurriedly recovered and said, No, no, no. The kid didn't dare to think so. I didn't expect that you would negotiate terms with my little foundation building. When Zheng Jicheng heard this, he smiled and said, No matter what you think, as long as you agree to my terms, your request is easy to say. Lin Haoyang looked straight and said, Zheng Sr. just say it. The kid can do it, he won't shirk it. I heard that your Lin family has a descendant of spiritual roots. What kind of cultivation technique is being cultivated now? Zheng Jicheng said. Lin Haoyang never expected that Zheng Jicheng would ask such a question. He originally thought that Zheng Jicheng might want him to help deal with the witch Shu who killed Zheng Xiaoxi. After all, he is nascent soul, so it is not good to deal with the younger generation. If it is for this condition, Lin Haoyang can naturally agree. He naturally has no good feelings about the people of Baixianmen. The line controlling Nangong Luyun still remembers still fresh. If it wasn't for his chance, I'm afraid it would be difficult for him to survive the third level of the trial. Compared with Nangong Luyun, the person who killed Zheng Xiaoxi was even more hateful. He used witchcraft and was very strange. Why, I'm afraid I will grab her and let her join the Chongshan Tower. You can rest assured that I will not let her join the Chongshan Tower. She will only become my closed disciple and inherit my legacy. Seeing Lin Haoyang did not answer, Zheng Jicheng said again. But this time, Zheng Jicheng's expression was a little low, which obviously reminded him of Zheng Xiaoxi. After hesitating for a while, Lin Haoyang told Zheng Jicheng truthfully some of Lin Xiaowen's situation. After thinking for a while, Zheng Jicheng sighed and said, "The Fengyan Ju you mentioned can only be repaired to the 9th floor of the foundation building. If you want the golden core, there is no matching cultivation technique, and the difficulty is not more than 50% even with the assistance of Xianjing. I know what it means for a family to cultivate a cultivator of different spiritual roots. Xiaowen has a foundation building and has laid a foundation. I only want her to apprentice to me and inherit my legacy, so that my cultivation technique will not be cut off. And she is still a member of the Lin family, and still belongs to the Azure Cloud sect. I will not ask about that." Quote. The Lin family belonged to the Qingyan sect's affiliated family, and Lin Haoyang was also considered half a member of the Qingyan sect. If Lin Xiaowen really joined the Chongshan Tower, I am afraid that this matter is not easy to say, and some people will catch the tail. But Zheng Jichengdu had already said that Lin Haoyang was only a personal apprenticeship without involving sect conflicts. Since Zheng Sr. doesn't dislike it, I don't think I will thank Xiaowen first, and then I will definitely wait for Xiaowen to come over and apprentice in person. Lin Haoyang. Seeing Lin Haoyang agreed, Zheng Jicheng was overjoyed and smiled. Ha ha ha. Number. Different spiritual roots are rare. In my life, I have encountered 3. My granddaughter has passed away. 1 has already been worshipped by others. This third person is you, Lin Xiaowen. Mainly I don't want my legacy to be severed, otherwise, there will be no such requirement. Okay, you have agreed to my request. You can trade with Xian for the magic talisman you want. Everything is discounted by 7. Quote. Ziyan nodded, expressing his understanding, but the shock in his heart could not be calmed for a long time. Generally, the cultivator is so anxious to find the legacy heirs. It is not that the original legacy heirs are not satisfied, but that the cultivator itself does not have much lifespan and wants to pass on the legacy in a hurry. As for Zheng Jicheng, it is very likely that this is the latter case. If Zheng Jicheng really does not have much life, I am afraid that in the next period of time, the shortage here will also be uneven. Lin Haoyang bent over to thank him, and then walked out of this black great hall with Ziyan. Then, Ziyan took Lin Haoyang out of the mysterious area, and Lin Haoyang's vigilance was relieved. In that area, I am afraid that there are several golden core cultivators in the sea, and they should all be good players in golden core. Soon, Ziyan brought Lin Haoyang to the treasury of Pingyang City, and brought out the 13 charms that Lin Haoyang needed. Looking at the 13 spirit talisman in his hand, Lin Haoyang was delighted. 30% off, that is 25,000 spirit stones. 10,000 spirit stones were saved. For the Lin family, with these 10,000 spirit stones, the Lin family can make a lot of preparations. Lin Haoyang took out the spirit stones, first delivered the 13 charms, and said, "Purple smoke, fellow Taoist. I also want to select 2 defensive magical item materials of tier 4 inferior grade, so as to refine 2 magical items." Ziyan frowned, but didn't say anything, and walked into the treasury again. When Ziyan returned, he had 3 more tier 4 low-grade materials in his hand. A piece of tortoise shell, a piece of metal, and a piece of dragon scales. Pingyang City now has 4 lower-grade refining materials, only these 3 are left, you can pick it. Ziyan said. Lin Haoyang looked at the 3 materials in Ziyan's hand, and he couldn't put it down. The 2 demonic beasts materials are both from demonic beasts, the 4th order inferior grade, and the quality is naturally excellent. As for that piece of metal, Lin Haoyang didn't recognize it, but in terms of its quality, I'm afraid that the material contained in the 4th order inferior grade is also top-notch. Lin Haoyang smiled slightly and said, Xian, fellow Taoist, if I accept all these three materials, how many spirit stones do I need in total? Ziyan frowned. Unexpectedly, Lin Haoyang had such a big appetite. Although she already knew that Lin Haoyang had become a Tier 4 crafting master, but Lin Haoyang had eaten 3 pieces of materials at once. Is this a bit too much? But soon, Ziyan understood that both Lin Qianlong and Bai Zonkang had just recently golden core, and there shouldn't be a suitable Tier 4 magical item in their hands. This time Lin Haoyang came. I'm afraid it was the material chosen for both of them. As for the third item, I'm afraid it was chosen for him. The tortoise shell and the dragon's inverted scales are 2 materials, each of which is 5,500 spirit stones, that piece of metal, 6,000 spirit stones. Purple Smoke said. The price was very fair, and Lin Haoyang was not hypocritical, and immediately handed over spirit stones. After buying the refining materials, Lin Haoyang's affair was finally over, but he couldn't go back now. After the matter was finished, Lin Haoyang naturally left, and then came to the Lin family's shop in Pingyang City. He asked someone to bring a letter to Lin Xiaowen, asking her to rush to Pingyang City from the Chongshan Tower. As for himself, he rented the Tier 4 Earth Fire room in Pingyang City. It might take a month or two for the messenger to arrive. With this time, Lin Haoyang can refine a Tier 4 magical item. A month later, the tortoise shell was made into a magical item by him. The tortoise was born in water, and Bai Zonkang used it at the right time. The tortoise demonic beasts has a strong defense power. It is made into a magical item, and the defense power is naturally good. Lin Haoyang is very satisfied with this magical item. After waiting for another 20 days, Lin Xiaowen rushed to Pingyang City. 30%. Chapter 178 Make Things Difficult. It was the first time for Lin Xiaowen to come to Pingyang City. There was a slight delay on the way. When he arrived, Lin Haoyang took Lin Xiaowen to the Zillow to find Xian. If you want to see Zheng Jicheng, you have to lead the way by Xian or Su Linger. When Lin Haoyang took Lin Xiaowen to the Zillow, the two women happened to be there. The matter of apprenticeship was extremely important. The two women did not refuse, and went along with them. Along the way, Lin Xiaowen was full of amazement. She didn't have much time outside, at most she had been to Qingyunzong once. And the hidden area of Pingyang City, revealing a hint of mysterious smell, fascinated the girl even more. It can be said that Lin Xiaowen is now like a flower in a greenhouse. Compared with Lin Haoyang when he was a boy, Sora has a cultivation-based qualification, with too little experience, and it is easy to suffer from enemies. Letting her worship Zheng Jicheng this time also meant to test her. After all, she was just apprenticeship and did not join the Chongshan Tower. Others must have prejudices against her. Soon, everyone came to the Black Great Hall again. Unlike last time, there were 2 people in the shop this time, 1 man and 1 woman. Seeing these 2 people, Lin Haoyang's pupils shrank slightly, because he noticed that the cultivation base of these 2 people had already arrived at the Golden Core realm. The man and the woman are all young people, dressed as a scholar, and the woman is dressed in red, with a bit of white skin exposed, but a little bit pretty. These are the 2 disciples under Zheng Senior's school, Lu Yi and Su Yu. Ziyan introduced. 2 fellow Taoists. In the next Lin Haoyang, this is my goddaughter Lin Xiaowen. Please also 2 fellow Taoists to take care of 1 or 2. Lin Haoyang said. Seeing this, Lin Xiaowen knew that these 2 were the 2 senior brothers and sisters in front of her, so she wanted to see her. Ha, what are you, a small foundation building, you dare to be worthy of fellow Taoist like me. The woman named Su Yu suddenly yelled and interrupted Lin Xiaowen. She never expected that her 2 senior brothers and sisters would hate her in such a way. If she was doing this to her, she would rarely care about it, but to Lin Haoyang, she could hardly swallow this tone. Su Yu, what do you want to do? Seeing Lin Haoyang being scolded for no reason, Su Linger also fought out. Isn't it, Xian and Su Linger, when did you call a group of foundation building brothers? Have you forgotten your identities? This is, the scholar Lu Yi also stood up. Seeing this, Lin Haoyang's eyes narrowed slightly. He had never seen these 2 people before, but now they came out to make things difficult for him, probably because of Lin Xiaowen's apprenticeship. Zheng Jicheng is a wind spiritual roots cultivator. Secret technique and magic treasures are suitable for wind spiritual roots cultivator. From the previous words of Zheng Jicheng, these 2 are definitely not wind spiritual roots. In this way, once Lin Xiaowen apprentices under Zheng Jicheng's school, she will definitely be heavily trained by Zheng Jicheng. Before Zheng Xiaoxi was there, they naturally didn't have the least thoughts, but when Zheng Xiaoxi died, their minds became active. Without descendants, these two apprentices will naturally be Zheng Jicheng's heirs. After Zheng Jicheng's death, they will naturally get a lot of benefits from them. But the appearance of Lin Xiaowen just broke this situation. Once people become greedy, they naturally do everything. At this moment, Lin Xiaowen grabbed Lin Haoyang's sleeve and said, "God, forget it, it doesn't matter if this teacher doesn't worship. I don't think there is much ability to teach such apprentices." Listening to this, Lin Haoyang showed a smile on his face. If he hadn't known Zheng Jicheng before, he still knew what Zheng Jicheng was. I'm afraid he would be the same as Lin Xiaowen now. Humph, what do you mean? Although Lin Xiaowen's voice was not loud, she could not escape the ears of the Golden Core cultivator. What do you mean? What do you mean? At this moment, Lin Haoyang was completely angry. He brought Lin Xiaowen here to apprentice Zheng Jicheng. Now they haven't seen him yet, but they didn't expect the two of them to come out. Don't think that in the Golden Core, you are superior to others, you are just more good masters than others, and you have cultivated for a few years. Lin Haoyang raised his hand and touched the storage bag, his face was full of anger. Lin, fellow Taoist, there is no need to be angry with this kind of villain. Seeing that Lin Haoyang was already on the verge of doing it, he hurriedly reconciled. Ziyan, a small foundation building, can turn the sky over. You want to work with Golden Core in the foundation building environment, you are still too. Before Su Yu finished speaking, he felt a pain in divine sense, and his vision began to blur. At the moment when Su Yu spoke, Lin Haoyang brazenly played soul concentration without leaving his hands at all. Su Yu only has the Golden Core 3 realms, and divine sense is not powerful. Although he has not been directly confused, he hesitated for a moment. With a sudden movement of Lin Haoyang's hand on the storage bag, a huge purple gold hammer flew out, and with a whistling force, he went straight to Su Yu. The moment the Zijin hammer flew out, a black flying sword, a killing intent sword light, one left and one right, attacked Su Yu. Su Yu was being hit by soul concentration, and while divine sense stung, he saw the purple golden hammer flying towards him. Frightened, Su Yu took out a shield and stood in front of him. Su Yu's divine sense was in a daze, but he didn't notice. Two sword lights on the left and the right were cutting away at her. Lu Yi, who looked like a scholar, turned dark. Unexpectedly, Lin Haoyang would have such a method. Once he shot, it turned out to be 3 tier 4 magical items. Lu Yi raised his hand, and a flying sword flew out, blocking the killing intent sword light that came around. Killing intent sword light is comparable to tier 4 magical item, but Lu Yi's cultivation base has reached the 6th floor of Golden Core. Flying sword in his hand is even tier 4 top grade. With just one blow, Lin Haoyang's tried and tested killing intent sword Mang was defeated. Lu Yi smiled mockingly. He just wanted to sacrifice a black tower. When he blocked the Long Yuan sword, his whole body was shaken, but the black tower in his hand didn't dare to fly out again. Touch. The Zijin hammer hits Su Yu's armor shield and hits Su Yu's hind legs 3 steps. The Zijin hammer is a power-type magical item. If you do this hard, you will naturally suffer. After receiving the Zijin hammer, a smile appeared on Su Yu's face. She naturally felt Lin Haoyang's backhand, but with Lu Yi on the side, she naturally didn't need to worry too much. But at this moment, Su Yu had a cold head, and then, her hair bun fell from before her eyes, and even the hairpin was still attached to it. This sudden glance made her soul mad, because her hair was chopped off, her hair fell and she looked embarrassed. Su Yu's legs were trembling unconsciously. Just now, she clearly felt that a flying sword had been cut from his head. She might be only an inch away from death. On the opposite side, Lin Haoyang handed seals and took the Zijin hammer and Long Yuan sword back into his hands. Just now, it was not that Lu Yi didn't want to make a move, but that he really didn't dare to move. Just when he wanted to sacrifice the Black Tower, 13 magic talisman flew on top of his head. These 13 talismans were exactly the 13 talismans that Lin Haoyang had bought in Chongshanlu. 13 charms were suspended above his head, although most of them were third-order top-rank charms, but if the 13 charms were exploded at the same time, he would have no chance of surviving. 30%. Chapter 179 Apprenticeship. Lin Xiaowen opened her mouth wide. This was the first time she had seen Lin Haoyang take a shot. She had always thought that Own, a godfather, was very powerful. But I didn't expect it to be so vigorous. One person crushed 2 golden cores. If you tell this record, no one will believe it. Of course, Lin Haoyang had a lot of tricks in this battle, and that cultivator would carry so many charms with him. In the eyes of Su Yu and Lu Yi, Lin Haoyang is completely a lunatic. Ziyan and Su Linger also looked shocked. Both of them were ready to take action. Unexpectedly, Lin Haoyang took the two with ease. For Lin Haoyang, the magical item duo can only smile helplessly. Even Su Linger, the genuine golden core cultivator, may not be better than Lin Haoyang. Humph. Golden core. That's nothing more, Lin Haoyang said contemptuously, and then took back 13 magic charms with one move. The 13 spirit charms were removed, and Lu Yi was relieved. He was really afraid of Lin Haoyang's death just now. The movement in the Great Hall was not small. Many cultivators from the Chongshan Tower had already rushed over. Seeing Su Yu and Lu Yi in a panic, everyone was surprised. Zheng Sr., my Xiaowen can't afford to climb high, so I'm leaving. As for the apprenticeship, I think it hasn't happened. Lin Haoyang, empty-cupped fist, declined Zheng Jicheng. Lin Haoyang knew that Zheng Jicheng must have been hiding in the dark just now. There may be trials and temptations. But with these two people here, Lin Haoyang would never dare to let Lin Xiaowen worship under Zheng Jicheng. Lin Xiaowen was innocent by nature. If these two people wanted to harm her, it would naturally not be difficult. Lin Xiaowen didn't have any regrets on her face either. Lin Haoyang's shot just now had completely shocked her. Even if she didn't worship Nascent Soul as a teacher, with Lin Haoyang, her achievements in the future would not be weak. Oh, little friend Lin, wait a minute. Just when Lin Haoyang wanted to leave, Zheng Jicheng's voice came. Lin Haoyang stopped. As if he had expected it, Lin Xiaowen also stopped, and looked back unconsciously. This person almost became his own master. But seeing that the other party is an old man, with gray hair, now it seems that he is even more old. Seeing this scene, Lin Xiaowen felt a little heartache inexplicably. Godfather, want.no, let me worship him as a teacher. Lin Xiaowen said slowly. Maybe she didn't know why she said this. Lin Haoyang was shocked, turned around, and saw Lin Xiaowen staring at Zheng Jicheng blankly. Lin Haoyang didn't know why Lin Xiaowen suddenly changed her attention. Just when Lin Xiaowen said this, Zheng Jicheng flashed away and came to Lin Xiaowen's face, full of emotion. Lin Haoyang's face sank, which was obviously beyond his expectation. You and my granddaughter are really alike. Zheng Jicheng looked at Lin Xiaowen, tremblingly. Su Linger watched this scene from the side, tears couldn't help but burst out. She and Zheng Xiaoxi, who had been good friends since childhood, died in the hands of the cultivator of Baixianmen. Little girl, are you really willing to worship the old man? Zheng Jicheng asked. Lin Haoyang looked at Lin Xiaowen, frowning slightly. When Lin Xiaowen was asked about this, her heart was immediately disturbed. She herself didn't know what was going on just now. The moment she saw Zheng Jicheng, she said that in her heart. At this time, Lin Haoyang raised his hand and put it on Xiaowen's head, gently touched it, and said, Don't be afraid, Zheng Sr. won't hurt you, and the two over there are not afraid. You just need to follow your inner thoughts. Do you want to be his disciple? Quote. With Lin Haoyang's comfort, Lin Xiaowen quickly calmed down and glanced at Zheng Jicheng. Lin Xiaowen nodded and said firmly, I want to worship him as a teacher. Ha ha ha, Xiao Yu Lin, since Xiaowen is willing, you can't stop it. As for Lu Yi and Su Yu, I will punish them, and I will not let them hurt Xiaowen anymore. Zheng Jicheng said. Lin Haoyang nodded. Seeing Lin Haoyang had agreed, Lin Xiaowen immediately knelt down and knocked 3 heads, regarded as a teacher. Zheng Jicheng didn't stop Lin Xiaowen, but smiled. Lin Xiaowen got up and shouted, Master! To Zheng Jicheng. Zheng Jicheng's face was full of joy, and he raised his hand on the storage bag, and a 4th-order top-grade charm appeared in his hand. This is regarded as a teacher's ceremony. Although it is still a bit difficult to perform with your current cultivation base, after 2 years of practice with me, it should be no problem. Zheng Jicheng finished speaking, and stuffed this 4th-order high-grade magic talisman into Lin Xiaowen's hands. Lin Xiaowen did not refuse, and the master gave the apprentice to accept it as the greatest respect. Lin Haoyang was secretly stunned in his heart. This nascent soul cultivator was really proud, and when he shot it, it was a Tier 4 high-grade magic talisman. So far, Lin Haoyang has never touched a Tier 4 high-grade magic talisman, let alone possessed it. After that, Lin Xiaowen collected the 4th-order high-grade magic talisman, and Lin Haoyang also took advantage of this time to hand the 4th-order low-grade magic talisman prepared by the family for Lin Xiaowen to Lin Xiaowen's hands. So far, Lin Xiaowen has 3 Taoist protectors, which are no more than the inheritors of the 5th rank power. Lin Xiaowen worshipped Zheng Jichang as a teacher, so she naturally wanted to stay in Pingyang City and learn Taoism with Zheng Jichang. As for Lu Yi and Su Yu, they were naturally punished by Zheng Jichang, but after all, they are Zheng Jichang's disciples, and it is impossible to treat them like them. But as long as Zheng Jichang, the nascent soul master, is still alive, the two dare not do anything to Lin Xiaowen. After Lin Xiaowen's affairs were dealt with, Lin Haoyang stayed in Pingyang City for another 3 months and made magical items from the other 2 materials before leaving Pingyang City. Half a month later, Lin Haoyang returned to the Lin family and handed the 13 magic charms to Lin Ganlong. There was also the Tier 4 lower grade armor shield made from the inverse scales of the Flood Dragon, which was also handed over to Lin Qianlong. Looking at the armor shield trained by the dragon's inverse scales in his hand, Lin Qianlong's face was full of joy. He has been missing a magical item for defense, and now he finally has it. After handing the armor shield to Lin Ganlong, Lin Haoyang also told Lin Ganlong about Lin Xiaowen's apprenticeship. Lin Qianlong is naturally very happy that Lin Xiaowen can worship Zheng Jichang, the nascent soul cultivator. In the future, Lin Xiaowen will have the confidence to give birth. Worshipping at the door of nascent soul, although you may not be able to become nascent soul, but you have a ticket to nascent soul. With the support of Master Nascent Soul, at least there is no need to worry about cultivation technique and resources. There is also Nascent Soul's experience in forming babies, which is much more likely than those who cultivate and form babies on their own. Patriarch, this magical item, please give it to your father-in-law. After finishing speaking, Lin Haoyang handed the tortoise magical item made to Bai Zonkang to Lin Qianlong and asked him to find an opportunity to give it to Bai Zonkang. Lin Qianlong took the tortoise shell magical item and said, "Yeah, that old guy, too, a few days ago, they pieced together and bought an offensive magical item in the Azure Cloud sect. As for the defense magical item, Spirit Stones will not be able to buy it yet. This time it's all right, just get him together. Still have to choose a good son-in-law. This magical item is delivered directly to your hand." 30%. Chapter 180. Lin Haoyang was also very happy listening to Lin Qianlong's jokes. As for the other Tier 4 inferior defensive magical item in his hand, Lin Haoyang didn't take it out. This is the treasure. He pressed the box. This time, when he went there, plus the cost of providing mutual goods and refining materials to the younger generation of the Lin family, there were not many spirit stones that Lin Haoyang had harvested in the Chongshan Tower before. I can still hold it now. I still rely on going to Zujia town to obtain some spirit stones in 3 storage bags. I am afraid it will be very difficult to continue spending such a generous amount in the future. In fact, Lin Haoyang still has a lot of contribution points in the Lin family, which can be exchanged for spirit stones, but if such a huge amount of spirit stones are taken away, it is easy to cause the financial collapse of the Lin family. Therefore, it is not just Lin Haoyang, but the high-level combat power of the Lin family rarely uses spirit stones in the family. They generally use contribution points to obtain some resources, or to hire family children to help them complete tasks. Except for the Lin family, this is the case for other major families and sects. Take Qingyunzong as an example. Zuo Qianji has been the nascent soul sect leader of Qingyunzong for decades. His contribution points may have reached hundreds of thousands. All these hundreds of thousands of contribution points are replaced with spirit stones, and the Azure Cloud sect's finances will be overwhelmed. Therefore, the matter of earning spirit stones has to be considered in the long term. While the two were chatting, Lin Haoyang suddenly said, "Patriarch, I haven't met Junior in the clan for many years. This time I want to establish a preaching system in the clan. I usually use the 9-layer cultivator as the lecturer, and every month, we are responsible for the cultivator foundation building to act as a lecturer. In this way, the juniors in the clan will not only cultivate the culture of cultivation, but they can also solve the problems in the road, which will be very good for them in the future." Quote. Listening to this, Lin Qianlong's eyes lit up. The Lin family's ethos is indeed a bit bad these years, although he has been arresting the family criminal law and family rules. Although the Lin family members did not commit any major mistakes, there was a lazy and happy atmosphere in the family. He always wanted to rectify, but couldn't find a suitable method. The method of preaching that Lin Haoyang just proposed was a good way. So Lin Qianlong agreed and let Lin Haoyang host the event. Soon news spread that Lin Haoyang was about to open a preaching venue in Lin's family, which immediately caused an uproar. Lin Haoyang has a very high status in the Lin family, and he is not in the clan all the time. It is even more difficult to see him than the patriarch. Regarding his deeds, the ceremony of forming a relationship, the invitation of the 6th rank forces, several times of exorcism, and the 4th order refining master, these are all things that the Lin family can talk about. Now that Lin Haoyang wants to preach in person, it naturally arouses the attention of many people. Soon, the preaching meeting will be scheduled for the 15th of next month, when all the juniors of the Lin family will attend. Of course, this sermon will be allowed to be on the sidelines, and there will surely be a lot of people coming by then. Soon, the time for preaching arrived, and all the descendants of the Lin family rushed to the place where Lin Haoyang preached. For this preaching, the Lin family deliberately opened up a small square on the halfway of the Baixiang mountain. The square is not small and can accommodate 200 to 300 people to watch at the same time. In addition to the people of the Lin family, some rogue cultivators also came here to watch. With the ringing of a bell, the square was completely quiet, and then, a light fell on the circular abutment on the square. The arrival of Lin Haoyang attracted everyone's attention. Everyone, I discussed with the clan elder before and will hold a preaching meeting in the clan. 9-layer cultivator will preach here on weekdays, and the foundation building elder of the clan will preach here every 15th. The preaching is different on weekdays. The children of the Lin family can choose to come and listen to the lecture, but they must come here on the 15th every month. Of course, as a lecturer, the family will also issue contribution points according to the number of lectures. Quote. As soon as Lin Haoyang said this, everyone in the audience brightened. Whether it was a younger generation who just started cultivation, or a successful older generation at cultivation base, they were happy in their hearts. Someone can solve the problems in cultivation after the children of the younger generation are happy. The elder cultivator thinks that spirit stones can be earned. In recent years, although the family treatment has been ascension, the family's locked resources have also increased a lot. These people want to go further. Of course, they praise some contribution points and spirit stones. After saying this, Lin Haoyang began to preach. The so-called cultivation. Since the beginning of Shantian, Qi condensation entered the pulse, and then became the foundation building. Lin Haoyang has been practicing Taoism since he was 6 years old. It has been more than 30 years now, and Lin Haoyang is now almost 40 years old. And now Lin Haoyang's cultivation base has reached the top of the 7th floor of the foundation building. I am afraid it will not be long before he can cross the bottleneck and enter the 8th floor of the foundation building. With such a cultivation speed, even Bai Qingyan, an unusual spiritual roots cultivator, can't let too much. In addition, Lin Haoyang has been honing outside all year round, and the Buddha's profound reality technique he has repaired is even at a very high level. He has an extremely deep understanding of Taoism. Lin Haoyang preached a stick of incense, and the family Shantian cultivator could not understand it. For half an hour, the cultivator could not understand the pulse, the first hour of preaching. The foundation building cultivator who rushed over couldn't understand it. In the second hour of the sermon, Lin Qianlong could only understand part of it. It's not that Lin Qianlong is stupid, but that Lin Haoyang's starting point is too high. To know the second level of the Buddha's profound art, he has not been able to fully penetrate it up to now. Therefore, Lin Haoyang, who was based on the Buddha Xuanzhenju, was also obscure when he spoke. Although everyone behind did not understand the content of Lin Haoyang's preaching, Lin Haoyang's words were Zuji, and no one was willing to miss a word in what he said. Lin Haoyang didn't expect that the first time he preached, the effect was so good. Originally, he only planned to talk for 1 hour, but unknowingly, it was already 2 hours. Okay, this is the end of today's preaching. If you have any questions below, you can ask them. Lin Haoyang finished speaking. It has been stipulated before that after each sermon, the 12 largest members of Ascension have the opportunity to ask own questions. Lin Haoyang was preaching for the first time, so the people sitting in the front row were the 12 people who had been given things to each other before. Lin Haoyang's preaching was over, but everyone was still drunk in it. I don't know who suddenly wanted to turn around and clap his hands. Everyone reacted from Lin Haoyang's preaching. Then came the deafening applause. For this, Lin Haoyang just smiled, then raised his hand to suppress the applause. The preaching is not for the sake of fame. It doesn't have to be that. Now, the 12 of you, do you have any doubts? Lin Haoyang asked the 12 who were sitting at the front. Among the 12, the youngest is 9 years old and the oldest is 29 years old. Just now, the content of Lin Haoyang's sermon was extremely profound, and they didn't understand much. They were afraid that the question raised was too simple and losing face, so no one asked for a while. Lin Haoyang waited for a long time, and saw that none of the 12 people in the front had spoken. He felt a little angry. What? Are you all right? Lin Juwu, 11 years old this year, has just started cultivating Taoism and has 4 spiritual roots cultivators, so he could not sit in the first row and had no chance to ask questions. But at this moment, his small face was flushed, and he was obviously holding a breath, but he couldn't hold it in the end and shouted with his throat. Grandpa Haoyang, I have a problem. Grandpa Haoyang, I have a problem. Grandpa